Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get rid of back on. How's that? Get rid of this. Welcome to the show. I was a little late in advertising this one just because of the work week, so I apologize. Hopefully people join in. I'm excited about this show. In the chat, X-Man, Huggy Bear, Real Pain. Real Pain. One of my favorites. Dark Vader's in. Globe is here. Mad Hatter, Fuzzy, Parsons Bootlegger, Ed, Roll the Win. We're talking tomorrow. I'm excited about our convo. Yeah, like it, sub it. Exactly. Already forgot. Wisco, Moonshine. Hell yeah, a little Moonshine. I talked to Moonshine today earlier when I was walking on the strip. G-Dub. Jokers Are Wild, Grasshopper, who I didn't get to meet up with this past weekend. The Plow. Who else is in here? Alfredo's in here, of course. Caveman. Mr. Lee Hook. Lip King is in here. Sandman and BRB. All right, I'm gonna bring on Alfredo and actually just do a little intro with him anyway. Hold on a second. Let me see this. Let's do this, Alfredo. I'm going to get to this intro too, Alfredo. Alfredo, can you hear me?
How's it going?
Yeah, we're on, dude. Can you hear me? All right, good.
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. Alfredo, I just got to give a couple shout outs before we get into this convo. And shout out to two guys that were in town that I got to play with. These two guys, Juan and T-Bone, who were over at Red Rock. And I'm going to have a great convo with Ed tomorrow, which will air on Tuesday, about Red Rock. I had a very unexpected, great time there. It was just a really good time. That's Juan, and that's T-Bone and T-Bone. So after this is us late at night, it's got to be one, maybe something like that. T-Bone made me an official, I don't know if you can see this, an official 12th man from after I hit the all. I know I didn't hit the all, I hit the tall, but he whipped this out of his pocket. And so in honor of everyone, I think the entire Seattle crew have now adopted me as an honorary 12th man. So thank you, T-Bone. That was a fun time. Alfredo, have you ever played at Red Rock?
Yeah, Red Rock is a beautiful casino. Tough table. It seemed to be when it first opened to be a little bit more fair. It became a little bit more bouncy. I think in the last couple of years they've redone the felt a little bit, and it's a conundrum. I actually shot from straight out several times there. I had to go to straight out because stick left was just getting way too bouncy if you got close to the wall.
Well, dude, so check this out, man. I had not been there, and I'm going to tell this whole story. So I'll just tell a little bit of it. Because I'm going to talk to Ed.
I love station casinos.
I don't play at a lot of them. I only go to Durango, really. So I went there, had no idea what to expect. I was under the impression the last time I was there and played there was COVID. Like they had the partitions up, and I got heat, and they were too tall. It was a completely different situation in the craps pit now. Tables were low. It was really nice bounce on there. It was cool, man. I had a great time, so I'm looking forward. Got a lot of stuff to talk to Ed about tomorrow. But anyway, so Alfredo from Texas Crap Shooters. Dude, you and I, so a little intro on this conversation is really going to be, we barely know each other. Up until last week, we had literally talked to each other for like 10 seconds. Hey, how you doing? Right at Palms a long time ago. It was like grip and grin. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Good job.
I think
And that
we
was
played
it.
at the Palms once because you're good friends with Ben and
Yeah, Wisco and Moonshine.
Fuzzy
Yeah.
and a bunch of people
Yep.
that you know actually are pretty good friends with me.
Yeah. And so that was the only time besides our, like, you know, we briefly spoke last week. And man, I felt like you and I could have talked for a long time about the game, all aspects of it. But to introduce you to everyone. So, Alfredo, are you in Texas? That's what I want to know,
Yes.
first of all. Where in Texas are you?
I live in San Antonio, the seventh biggest city in the U.S. However, it doesn't seem that way the way that it is. It's
Wow,
definitely
really?
more of a suburb sort of feel.
Yeah, shout out. Listen, Ed says good to Alfredo. I haven't seen him since we played a few years ago in Biloxi. And then Hookem. What's up, Hookem? Hello, fellow Texan from Amarillo. Dude, I have not been to San Antonio in so long. I was there with another band when I was on tour, and the reason why I remember San Antonio, they got all their shit stolen when they were sleeping. Their entire U-Haul was stolen. So that's what I remember from San Antonio, though. I was rooting for the Spurs this year.
Yeah. I guess the biggest thing about San Antonio is we're only about an hour and a half from Austin, so it's pretty close. Houston's about 3.5 hours away, so that's not too bad. And then Dallas it's a bit of a drive. That one's more like 4 hours or so.
Yeah. San Antonio is the home of Clear Channel Outdoor. Actually, it's a vendor of mine. It's where they started, so they sort of dominate that city with billboards and stuff. But besides the Spurs and are you a basketball fan? Were you rooting for them? That must have been pretty exciting.
I mean, I'm a Laker fan, so I was originally born
Really?
in California, in Glendale, California, and
shit, man.
sort of suburb of Los Angeles.
How'd you end up in Texas?
I moved with a job here probably about 17 years ago, medical device sales, and ultimately moved into sales for more industrial products that I do now. But yeah, it was a great move. Texas is probably more my style than California.
Yeah.
But, you know, to each their own.
Yeah.
It's like California, they vote to tax themselves more. Just like you can't ratify tax increases unless it's voted upon, and it's just crazy.
Fuzzy says he's a Dolphin fan. That explains a lot.
Are you a Dolphin fan? Yeah, there's a hat there. It's Dan Marino growing up. So being in Los Angeles, Raiders. So I went to the last Raider game in the Coliseum, and
you did? That's a good.
It was a playoff match, Denver, with John Elway in there, and they're singing John Elway goodbye. But you have people just chucking beers in people's faces that are from Denver, punching them in the face with their kids there, and it's just like
that's good. Wholesome family fun.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't really relate to that, and I was a big Dan Marino fan back in the day. So and he was still playing, so I just sort of attached to the Dolphins.
Craps Master, my nemesis is a Packer fan. He's in here forever. We're forever tied
Packer fan
from the NFC North. But Fuzzy says, yeah, it's tough to be a Dolphin fan. Interesting fact about Marino, though, right? He's like Fran Tarkenton, great QBs, and they never won the big game. I think Marino
never won the big game. He got to the championship
once.
You know, his big nemesis probably was more the Buffalo Bills. Jim Kelly knocking him out every time.
But they made it one time. I don't know if they.
They made it when he was like a lot younger. Yeah.
They all think they're going to go back, and then they never go back. Yeah, the Dolphins are just like a joke. They've become a joke since then. You know.
They are. I'm not claiming that they're not. You know, but so definitely been to a ton of Spurs games, and I root for them when they're not playing the Lakers. So.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right, so Alfredo, I've got some pictures of your very first, like these are the pictures that I love. You sent me like 800 pictures, and I picked out the ones
for pictures.
that,
I'm sorry.
I know, but I like stuff like this. This is the
Cheers.
stuff that no, cheers, man. What are you drinking?
Woodford.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice, man. I've got Manuka honey. It's like almost like pharmaceutical grade. It's supposed to be really good for you. But check this out, people. This is the type of shit I love. Alfredo.
That's a very crude setup.
This is
very
great,
portable,
man. Dude, this is awesome. You've got cardboard boxes as your backstop. And this, so is this your very first setup?
Yeah, I had setups very much like this, just putting a little bit of a backboard before it actually migrated to actually having a back wall with an actual bumper. And I had take step around something like this and toss for quite a while.
Dude, this is so cool. Like, we've all had to improvise in the very beginning, and this is so classic. This is such a good idea, man. You've got cardboard boxes there.
I didn't even have a stick. I had a Swiffer.
I was wondering what that was, but I figured it was.
Hey, you pulled the dice back.
Yeah, that's great, man. So how long? When was this? When did you start? So, couple questions here.
So I've been playing craps for better part of 23 years.
Oh man, that's a long time.
Originally started as a blackjack player.
Yeah.
And you'd hear people roaring over at the crap table all the time. And so I eventually it piques your interest. I played almost exclusively for probably 15 years over at the Orleans in Las Vegas. And so we would go up there and I'd play there. I was one of they'd always get pissed at me because I'd get invited to the blackjack tournaments. They're big blackjack tournaments, but I wouldn't show. And locals are like, I'm playing every day and you're inviting this guy. And so I ultimately played with some Hawaiians the first time. Didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like trying to copy other people's bets. And we got on a big roll that one guy had who was to my left. So I didn't shoot well the first time around. And I start betting on him and I'm not making a lot of money. He's like, why are you not making, like, you need to actually copy my bets and not just same bet, because I was just same betting the entire time. So the next time around, I copied his bets and then I shot really well. And I'm just copying his bets and I go on a big roll and then he goes on a big roll right after it. And that pretty much got me hooked.
Yeah, like, it's always something like that. Dude, S.J. Young.
SG Security.
Alfredo, TCS, 100%, 100. One of the best shooters and bettors in the game. That I was just going to say that there, a lot of times people get into it for shooting, and then there's a whole betting side that gets ignored. I think it gets ignored.
Oh yeah.
But you and I last week talked about that's what I liked about our conversation the most, even though it was brief. It was about the betting side of things, and that's really where my main interest in. But Fuzzy says, "Does Orleans have chairs?" Asking for a friend. That's a
they do have chairs. I think he's poking at the fact that you consider people ferrets if they like chairs at the table.
Yeah. And I'm not quite sure this handle. Fujioka 808 said he played at Orleans and it did have stools. It's funny. I was walking through Caesars the other night, and there was a big guy. He was straight out, and he was playing the don'ts, and he was sitting on a chair, which I thought was like, I never see chairs at Caesars. And I was surprised that they were letting him do that. But anyway, so looking at this picture though, dude, I've got this same felt, this same little mini felt. Did you get that on Amazon? I had the same thing at some point that I used, that I put up on my island in my kitchen. And I had all these masking tape almost like grids on it that I would put on this connected to this and this connected to this, almost like one of those like serial killer like maps that you have with the yarn, you know, that you see in movies. That's what I would, that's what I did with something like that. That's cool. I'm like, just goes to show you, you can set up anywhere, doesn't matter. You don't need a table. You can figure it out. Shout out Jobless DGen just got in here. So Alfredo, so after that, you were coming up to Orleans. When did you really get into it? Was it after that that you, and did you just focus on
I'd say
like everyone else?
even the beginning years probably wasn't like super serious. So I wasn't going quite as much. About 18 years ago, I started playing a little bit more seriously, but it would still be maybe once a month trips up there.
Oh, that's legit, dude. Once a month is legit.
Oh, yeah. And traveled there a lot, but that was back, you know, I lived in California, so I started driving up there quite a bit, and it was easy. When I was playing blackjack, I was probably going there way more than that and way too much. So I was making money doing it. So
that's a nice thing about LA is that, I mean, if you time that drive right, it's, you know, 4.5 hours here and then back. It's like, you know, right around.
It's not too bad.
No, it's not. And that's when I was just, it was easy to make the trip because you could time it, especially when you're driving. The trick from LA is figuring out when to leave and when to go back. And you can pretty much bypass all of the hellscape of LA traffic.
Yeah, I think the big thing, like, when did I get more sort of fanatical, start doing a little bit more social media, was right around COVID time. There was a lot of people that started doing stuff with craps, and it's like they're telling people the wrong thing. They're saying martingales are good. They're saying this and that. And trust me, like, as much as it could be a strategy if you're at a place that allows for a high enough top end, it's one that will kill bankrolls overall at some point. And
okay,
then,
Alfredo, before you get into any of this details, I want to go through, like, so at COVID, you started a channel. Because let me clear this up, because I knew at one point you were on YouTube. You are not on YouTube. And Pitmaster 45 says, "Sup, Alfredo? I watch you on Kick."
Yeah.
All right. Oh, fucking Eddie Money's in the house right now. I love Eddie Money, man. All right. What happened? You had a channel. Now, was your channel like, let's say, a Big AZ's channel? What was your channel like? And then what happened to it?
Yeah.
Because you know a lot of this community, and
yeah, there's still a bunch of people that follow me. I still do lives over on Kick. Started it probably somewhere like late or 2022, like maybe the beginning of 2022, and got it up pretty quickly at some point, and started doing a ton of lives. So Crapsy was an app that had come out that allowed people to bet real time against people that had rolls. So I got my table 4 years ago, the full size craps table, 14-foot casino table. Mm-hmm. And so I started just doing lives, and I started doing videos to sort of not debunk, but give people other opportunities as far as like betting and stuff like that. We can get into that later, but had over 1,000 live videos at the time that I ended up getting banned.
And explain the live videos to me. So you'd go on there, and it is a thing. And again, so I'm not really a YouTube guy. Like I used to shoot solo maybe for the first 5 or 6 months, and then I was one of the few that actually had other people, started trying to drive other people to join and do live stuff. The original person, and maybe not the original person, because I think someone did it before Arnell. Arnell Dice Grinders had an LFC, right? Yeah. So he did it LFCs, and he would do it once a week. And clearly, you know, the community started really growing. People started getting their own tables, their own throwing stations. What'd you just say? LFC?
LFC, so Live Fantasy Craps. And so cool. I took that concept and made it to where I was literally playing every day, and in some weekends, multiple sessions, and allowing people to jump on with me. I think I started with Zoom, and I would, have them come in. They'd come with a camera. A lot of them just at the time just had like their cell phone, right? And now
Alfredo,
tons of people.
Sounds like you were a little pioneer, one of the trailblazers in that.
Well, so I started in the Crapsy part when they only had 6 people. The max people you can have on a table is 6. And clearly, I think it was myself and Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. We were both starting to get like over 10 people and then 20 people. And then like it was breaking their system. So then they expanded it out. And I was just sharing the passion that I have for craps with other people, teaching them how to set, but also teaching them how to bet. Because as you said before in our conversation, you can't make anything in playing craps. That doesn't matter how good you shoot if you can't bet.
Moonshine chiming in here. Darn near, darn. I like that. Darn near every channel was promoting Crapsy. Someone turned him in, then turned him in again when he started another channel. Someone was jealous of his followers, in my opinion. All right, man. So, I mean, I don't know what it seemed like. I mean, the Craps community, I guess it seemed like it was a little, was it competitive back then or is it competitive? I found it personally. I feel like it has a, I was a nerd. I was in high school. I was sort of a loner on the outside. I moved in my junior year to another high school. So I was kind of always on the outskirts of, the cliques and the groups, but I feel like I'm reliving high school, Alfredo.
Yeah. I mean, so I can't say anything about,
it is very much like high school.
It got pretty bad at some point where people just talking different stuff about other people, saying that, hey, they're doing the same content or they're doing this. Well, why are they tuning into this person more than this person, right? And why are you worrying about what someone else is doing? Worry about what you're doing. And so there was this back and forth and different stuff. And for me, I don't care to sort of relive any of that stuff. The people that wanted to watch, those people, they tune into them. And actually, what you ended up finding was a lot of people got soured to the continued negativity that people were putting out there. I was always just trying to share craps, man. Like if you want to go have a pissing contest, you can sign up for UFC and get yourself knocked out.
All right, listen, Matt, who is this? You know who this is? Like, why can't I say this? Why does this look hard to say?
Ashish, yeah, that's
Yo Chef.
That's Ashish. She's
yeah, I know Yo Chef. It's Yo Chef. Why? It's all people again. It's like they don't have handles in there, and then I could guessing who they are. It says he introduced me to the community and other groups, and then X-Man says Alfredo's TCS channel was the first channel that drew me into the Craps universe. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
When I got banned, I had like 3,000 something. I grew pretty fast. Yeah, and it was still growing. Like I think the month before I got banned, I grew like 180 subscribers in the last 2 weeks leading up to it.
Man, dude, that's impressive. Ed says there's a difference between the Craps community and YouTube folks at times. And then Fuzzy chimes in. He's going to do a live after this show. It's an everyday following to shoot on his show and playing along. Okay, so dude, you do this on Kick then? Another streaming platform that I've never been on.
And that's the hard part. You could have someone, I think Fuzzy made a joke. He's like, you have someone that has 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and they're on Kick and they have 100 people watching them.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people that adopt Kick.
So why did you, can I just ask you then? I know you don't want to go relive this, but why are you not on YouTube? I mean, I know that you.
Oh, no. That I have no problem talking about. Like I never had a strike. So they terminated me in the middle of a live. And the thing was community guidelines promoting regulated goods.
Gambling.
And regulated goods was gambling. And they considered Crapsy gambling because at the time, I believe Chuck didn't pay for the update. There was a time where he was delisted from the app or something like that for Apple and for Google, because he had it on both platforms.
And Chuck is
And
the guy that made Crapsy?
he made Crapsy, yeah. And so I guess, AI got me in a window where it wasn't considered an approved website, and bam, that's
Man,
it.
they came after you, man.
No,
The
no
Matrix,
strikes, no warning, just shut it down.
Mr. Anderson. They got you, dude. Paul Roberts says, "What's up, Alfredo? Good to see you're on the show." And then Justice Jen, Alfredo was the most reliable everyday player for us to play Crapsy with. Marathon player. Man, Alfredo, you got quite the
There's still a bunch of people that play. Hundreds of people play with me every day still. Yeah.
It's funny because I get like we get like strikes for music, which is supposed to be clear. I'm almost giving up YouTube because it seems like your video could not be monetized. Like I just assume it will never be monetized. Shout out to this guy, John from Pro Craps. Can I just say something, Alfredo, about John from Pro Craps? Hey, John, look at this, dude. I'm officially a 12th man. I've been given the Seahawk flag from T-Bone, dude. All right. Okay, wait. And then he says, I still can't reconcile why Alfredo got hammered by YouTube, but nobody else did. Was it something in the way you mentioned it? You know what, Alfredo, dude.
I know when Steve will do it, right? He got banned. And the reason they gave that he had a gambling site, but he was actually gambling, right? Like Crapsy's not gambling at all. It's a simulation site, and there's no money exchanged. But the reason he got banned is he shared the entire screen, which included the URL in the browser. And I guess there's something against that, and I believe I did do that, but I didn't know. Like there's no tutorial on what to do and not to do.
Alfredo, I can't, because of casino tiers, because casino's in the name, I can't even like take an ad out on Google because it's got casino in the name. It's like I kind of screwed myself. But dude, before I forget, Alfredo, I gotta bring something up for John from Pro Craps that's watching this, and maybe the Full of Chips guys. I don't know. Do you listen to, I watch John's show. It's one of the only shows that I really kind of regularly watch.
John, we had a meetup over in the Pac Northwest when he had Color Up. Nice. Myself, Corey came out, and quite a few other people in the community outside of there. Justice Jen, we actually shared a house, Justice Jen, for the weekend when we were up there.
Nice, man. Getting around, man, doing the travels. But I wanted to give a shout out to John and the Full of Chips guys, because this week I really enjoyed both of their shows this week, because I don't know what it was. John started swearing. I actually enjoyed that when he started swearing, because I was like, oh, John swore. Like I swear all the time. My mother would be so disappointed in me if she's looking down right now from the skies above. She would just be shaking her head, because I just can't help myself. I swear all the time. But
John, but you said something about like why people follow people or whatever. You have Ed, right? He's very genuine. You have John, very genuine. The emotion is real, and he takes you through it. If you follow him previously, you know the frustration and whatnot. And I think that's what I think folks out in YouTube and other platforms are following. They're following folks that they feel are authentic and can add something to them or relate to what they've been through.
I enjoyed the passion, because John had to get like, obviously I enjoyed it because he was swearing, and it really like had to get this off of his, his chest. And then also the guys, Old Bay Craps and Dice Degen. I listened to the show today. I was cracking up because they were swearing, because they were so like, they were passionate about whatever they were talking about, which was funny to me. So, anyway, guys, you should watch those shows. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy when people are passionate about whatever they're doing. You can tell. Like you said, you can tell. Alfredo, couple things in the chat. Birdies and Aces love watching Alfredo's show. Okay. Huggy Bear, shout out. Glad to hear Alfredo is on Kick. Wondered where he went to. Now you don't. Now you know, dude. He's there. Pitmaster Alfredo got a badass fast grip. T Sizzle. Yeah, I got started with this community with Alfredo TCS and Big AZ. Shout out. H Young. Good evening, 10 ton. Hey Alfredo, miss you, buddy. I don't know who this is because I don't know them.
Hazel, that's Hazel Young. That's SJ's wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me see a couple more. A little Justice Jen wore my casino t-shirt, and Huang Ba from Palm said hi to Fran. Also got a dealer at Paris who loves Fran. Yeah, that story checks out. Let's see. John. All right. I knew he was going to chime. I can tell you this. Getting the Nexus app out has been an absolute nightmare for these same reasons. They lump us into the whole social casino thing, even though no money changes hands. It's PETA, pain in the ass, right? I've never heard that, but I just figured it out. Alfredo was fun in the PNW. We had so many great stories from just a few days of play. Yeah, dude, the social casinos, I had some... They've approached me to do some advertising, and I'm talking massive advertising, like 600 to $1 million, like monthly budgets, and they can't get approved because of all the regulations. They wanted to like cover all of, and even Canada, like all of Quebec, all of Ontario. And funny thing, there's a social casino that I came up with a whole plan for every market in Texas, Alfredo. And it was a massive campaign. It's all, and then the regulations go 1 minute they're approved, 1 minute they're not. And there's a lot of loopholes, but those social casinos make so much more money. And big hugs, ETG, Lazy Dog, Evan Cruz. Good evening, everyone. That rant earned me a long ass text from our friend Jimmy. That was a good rant, John. Snake Eye Shooter, Alfredo the man. Man, Alfredo, dude, you are a popular dude, man. Let me get to these. More. Mike Rolacek. Alfredo, thank you for being so welcoming to absolutely everyone. And then, yeah, Real Pain. What is Kick and how the heck do I get the damn thing? Alfredo, what's Kick?
Yeah, Kick's just a streaming service where you can stream and you can actually play music. So one of my friends, Kahuna, you guys know Big Kahuna, or known by Larry. He says he comes for the music, not for the shooting, and not and the music and the brotherhood, because there's a bunch of us on there all the time. But Kick is just a live streaming service. You can go on live. It's only lives, pretty much. In order to watch a video, you have to watch a replay that's somewhere on their site. You have to actually create an account. So you can't just go there as a anonymous user. You have to create an account, and then you have to search for people. And that's where it's hard because, Fuzzy ended up finding ladies in hot tubs instead of me. Originally, he's like, you need to send me the link or something. I'm like, are you logged in? So yeah, his first subscriber was subscribing to hot tubs.
Ladies in hot tubs, or a bunch of guys playing craps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so that's what you're competing with, a lot of different stuff. A lot of people think of it stupidly, right? Like, I think there was stuff on Capitol Hill just a couple of weeks ago around someone who was doing some other just not great stuff, but they said, oh, he's on Kick or has a Kick and a Kick account. He's a pedophile. It's like, there's no fucking kids on Kick. Like, guys, get with the fucking program. It's a streaming service. There's way more gambling on there than there should be. And then there's a ton of live stuff. So there's like live chat, and then people just like out and about in the world doing lives. Like, most of the big channels are doing something like that. I'm like a subset of a channel, and I still, just to your point, get looped into gambling because it's craps, even though it's not gambling, right? Like we're just chatting and having good
that's just how it is. Man, people just label you.
So go to kick.com, download the app, or download the browser and make an account. You can search Alfredo TCS, but it's not the @ sign for Kick. It's just /Alfredo TCS once you're in.
And then search Naked Ladies. Okay.
And yeah, and then you can.
Yeah.
So you'll have it defaults to the filter without the hot tubs. It's named something else,
Oh my God.
and gambling. So he actually went to the settings and must have checked it off because he got those feeds right away. So
Dude, do you know who this is from Hawaii? Aloha from Hawaii.
Lee Hook or who are we talking about?
Bikalas. I don't know who this is. I wish they had a handle. This one. Check it in. Let's go.
There's a ton of people from Hawaii. Like I said,
Hawaiians are great.
I probably played with Uncle Mel from Craps Hawaii hundreds of hours at the live casino. Hundreds of hours. And he's like a big betting guru. He was one of the first channels ever started, along with what was it?
Koga Ninja?
Roll something. The guy from Denver.
Bone thrower?
No,
roll
it.
He's
What's his?
Yeah, fucking let it roll.
Let it roll.
Yeah,
so he was one of the original ones that right at that time created a channel back in the day.
Yeah, I always felt awkward watching that for some reason. Anyway, like I never really got that one. Pat the Plow. I just found myself on the social casinos for the first time this week. It's already paid for my CT event next month. Good job. Moonshine. Bluff Gambles Live. That guy from Chicago Gambles Live. Vegas Matt Gambles Live. So many others. How did Alfredo get on the radar? There was a year-long.
Someone disliked me, and they knew someone at Google. That's what happened.
Let's see. Oh, dude. First shout out Juan. Dude, Juan. Hey, Juan. If you just got there, you missed this picture. Juan. I'm going to talk about you on the podcast coming out, man, because I had a great time. That dude is awesome. Okay, let's see. Lee Hook. He put in hot tubs on purpose. Fuzzy says, don't get banned 10 times. I will do my best not to, but
yeah,
if it happens. Oh, Lee Hook. He's from he's from KC. Let me
Lee Hook's from KC. He was talking about the Hawaiian.
Check this out though. Craps Master Journey says Alfredo was the first person in a real casino where I noticed he would analyze every throw and make adjustments based on the results.
She was a great guy.
Yeah. All right. So Alfredo, I'll get back to the chat.
Okay.
Let's talk craps. So you had this channel. So obviously you really focus in on shooting. Who taught you how to shoot? How'd you figure it out? Did you take lessons? Where's that arc of the superhero that everyone seems to follow, named Alfredo?
Yeah, sorry, it's changing out my ear. I learned from emulating people that were at the table originally. I was a one handicap golfer in high school. So nice, hand-eye coordination stuff was not something that was foreign to me. And that's really what craps is. It's a lot of different physics involved when you're talking about the grip, the amount of energy, the release point, all of that. And so it came down to, how can I get better?
But who influenced you? Like, where did you like all of those things that you're just even mentioning?
I only ever took one lesson. It was with Howard Rock and Roller.
Oh, nice.
Quite a few years ago.
Legend.
And we went to dinners and played some as well. But it was really just out of practice. So after I get fanatical, you can't get to one handicap unless you get out there and play a lot, right? It's muscle memory. It's making sure that at some point it becomes more of a mental.
What was your longest drive, dude?
Oh, well, I mean, wind assisted.
Sure, we'll take any.
So yeah, in California there was a golf course over in Simi Valley.
I think I played at that one.
Right on the outskirts, and they had a hole So you have 1, 2, 3. It was the third hole, and I drove the hole, and the hole was 368
Oh
yards,
man,
and
dude,
I drove it to the
those are
back.
daily. Those are daily drives, man.
But that was like a. I think I had the biggest Big Bertha at the time, and I would just hit monstrous drives really, really, really high.
Ah, that's
So that
awesome,
got,
isn't it?
and there you get like 40-mile-an-hour winds
Oh,
sometimes.
dude, what? Yeah, is it Rustic Canyon, Yo Chef? I used to golf there, dude.
It's been so long, I don't know the exact name, but I know it was right on the outskirts or the beginnings of Simi Valley.
Fuzzy says Alfredo opened my eyes to dice setting and proper toss physics. That's pretty sweet. That's good that you're opening up a lot of people's eyes to this stuff. So dude, really, Howard was the only person that you took a quote unquote formal lesson from. But did you watch other YouTube channels? And because everyone does that. I mean,
YouTube was pretty new. I don't think there was anyone really shooting on YouTube by the time I got a full-size table and whatever. And I had already been playing. I just wasn't playing as much, right? I was going maybe once a quarter or something like that, and then I started going every single month. Right?
This is your full-size table.
Yeah, it's a 14-foot casino table.
Man, dude, you got a 14-foot table?
Yeah. In my living room,
dude. What the? I appreciate that. In the living room. But 14 foot, I think you're the first person I know that actually has a 14-foot table.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Where'd you get it?
Like I said, I get into a hobby, then I get a little fanatical.
Where'd you get it?
It was available on, I believe, Facebook Marketplace.
I mean, was it from a casino?
It was from an Indian casino, yeah.
Oh, sweet, dude. What does that say up there?
It says, Chichara Casino.
Is that a real casino or a name that's made up for something that has to do with women? What is this? Is that a real casino?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a real casino, but I know that this is a real table. The base of the table is the birch wood, and it's about 850 to 1,000 pounds.
Man, I know these things are heavy.
Monsters. Yeah.
Yeah. Must have taken at least 4 guys, at least minimum, to carry this in, right?
Yep.
At least.
And then you reassemble the supports.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Screwed up all of my rails on underneath. I need to get that redone.
14 foot, Jesus. Now this obviously was before this is like this.
Yeah, this was okay. I don't want to just shoot into an Amazon box, right? Like, let me shoot into something that actually has a back wall, and I created a collapsible wall that gave me that same sort of.
I like this, dude. I love these. These are my favorite pictures, man. These, like, before you get the real table, you know, and then you can never go back, really, once you get the real table.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, wow. Wisco said, "How did you become friends with Uncle Mel?"
I watched a lot of his content, so I was more interested in his betting structure on getting out of a hand than, because I knew the aggressive side. You know, you always, sometimes you could press and never collect anything because it never gets to the third hit or the fourth hit of a number. So I did well when people would throw a 30 or 25, but how do you make money off of a 12 and an 18 and make actual good money off of it? And so he had some original things out there about staying alive, 76 inside. So he did some stuff in order to get out of the hand, reached out to him. Actually, he was one of the first ones to film in a casino shooting. And I think probably during maybe his second year of filming out there, I showed up at the casino and we just hit it off. He liked, I guess, my personality. We sort of clicked and we just started playing a bunch. And he used to play at the El Cortez originally. He was again introduced over at the Orleans. The Hawaii crapshooters allowed them to come and film with him and got them into being able to film live.
Yeah, listen, I got an important news break here from
All right.
Emmanuel Bell. He says Chat GPT says chichara is translated to cicada or buzzer slash alarm, varies by the region. That's pretty sweet. I like that. That someone did the research that I couldn't break away from, because I am curious about that stuff. But thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Listen, Alfredo, more props to Alfredo. I've met so many people in the craps community because of shooting and traveling with Alfredo, dude. Sling chiming in. Alfredo is next level. He amazed me when he read other people's roles and sets and bet into them. It was amazing to watch. Dude.
Yeah. I mean, you're there. So there is a benefit of charting. Some people literally
Oh,
have to handwrite it, right? And so what he's talking about is being able to physically see that. I have like semi-photographic memory, so I don't always have to chart in order to know that 10 ton the last time around was pounding the nines, and he was also hitting hard ways. And so I'm going to
nines.
take advantage of that the next time around and bet into that so that I can get out of the hand faster.
Dude.
So
All
if
right,
you start
Alfredo.
hitting nines.
Listen, dude, first of all, I like this piece of paper with the charting thing. I love shit like that. But I want to
Yeah.
talk to you about what you just said. And after this came up in our conversation,
Yeah.
I feel like, photographic memory or not, I just think you should have a good memory. It helps having a good memory. But what does that mean at a craps table? I'm constantly watching people's rolls, and I can tell you what this person threw, what was the dominant number coming around, how many rolls. I think you should almost get in the habit of doing that. And
Yeah.
whether it's a photographic memory or not, it's just a memory. And I think it behooves you as a player and as a bettor to be doing that, especially if you're going to be betting on these other people. But if it's a shooter or someone that we know that we're going to meet up with or we're there, I'm going to pay attention to them. And I'm definitely going to know, yeah, he threw 3 threes and like a 10 and never hit this, or I'm going to know that stuff. Like you said, you should be paying attention. Paying attention is such an underrated, it's not even a talent. It's just what you should be doing, process that you should be doing at the table when you're there. You need to be paying attention to what these guys that you're going to be betting on are shooting, all of it. I think it amazes me that people can't tell you, hey, tell me what this guy threw. Tell me what this guy threw. You should be able to do that if you're really going to take the game to the next level. And that means, I mean, you just got to pay attention. It's not that hard.
I'll give you an example. It's like being an investigator and you walk into a room, there's one person there, right? And that's the person you're watching. And then you leave the room and someone asks you, well, what color shoes did that person have, right? If you're an investigator, you're probably taking note of all those different things mentally, because that's a very important thing. But people can see a car crash and you can have 3 or 4 different stories. There's one story to be told over at the craps table, and you need to attune to what it is that's happening. The reason why most people lose is they don't adjust, because there is no one strategy that works, right? They try, oh, well, I'm going to do 110 inside. I'm going to do 66 inside, right? Well, if 4s and 10s are hitting and you don't make that adjustment, you're going to continue to lose. You need to make an adjustment to the strategy by having multiple strategies within your repertoire in order to get to what it is that the table's allowing. And if the table's only allowing, like you said, right, horns, well, bet the fucking horn. Why are you not betting the horn? Sorry for the cursing. But,
no, they're welcome on this channel. Okay. All right. The only one that's really going to be bummed is my mom. Okay. Alfredo, you just opened up a bunch of doors that I could go down, which is about strategies. But let me tell you, I think strategies, to be nitpicky, I think systems go into strategies. Strategy is your overall approach to the session. And it could be filled with 3, 10, 20 different systems. that end up changing. I think I always like to, emphasize that because of what goes on YouTube, and everyone teaches strategies when in fact strategies are actually systems. They're not strategies. The stuff that everyone plays, which is very like input, output, you do this, that's a system that fits into a strategy. Like my 10-ton 2-hit takedown and my triangle, those are systems that fit into an overarching strategy.
Yeah.
It's just good to know that because those words get tossed around almost interchangeable on YouTube, and it's a bummer. But let me say that. Hold on a second.
I know you did tell me to remind you about something that we had talked about, right? And
I know, dude. We're gonna get to it.
We'll get there.
It says watching a roll is one thing, but noticing the dice set and the result is totally different. I would agree on that, and I think you have to be more of an advanced player. I say start with just trying to remember what people shoot before once you start go into that world of like Ed and really practicing as a shooter, then you can start saying, oh, this guy's throwing a 5.665. I would expect him to get this. Let me see if it matches up to what I would expect when I throw it. It's not going to mean that it's going to, you have a baseline for what you'd expect. You should adjust accordingly. Caveman, tell your friends what your recent dominant numbers have been. I love that. I love that.
Share information. Like you're betting on the same side in most cases.
Yo chef, 10-ton. I like that. 10-ton. Are you selling your charting papers? Yes, they're being sold on the site. And by the way, Bump John was he is an amazing guy, teammate to go to the table with. And those are Bump John approved because we AB'd these and R&D'd them, and they're great. Matt Hatter said Ed likes the term trending. I'll ask him about that.
Oh, well, so we created that a long time ago, right? And I think John from Procraps had a fucking conniption fit and had like 2 or 3 lives that said that's not trending, when someone would hit like 3 or 4 5s in a row, right? And I'm like, but John, it was 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. Yes, that is a trend because it's not like they threw a 4-1, then a 3-2, then a 4-1. The dice are having the same action also off the wall, not just the same combination. 59
Chevy says strategies are like belly buttons. Innies and outies, right? Inside and outside.
Oh my God.
Exactly, dude. So Alfredo, okay. You mentioned something. You mentioned so many things, dude. I need to have a Nicorette, I think, right now, because you mentioned so many things. Dude, how do you mentioned something on how you make money, but like 10 to 12 rolls. Dude, that is like one of the best questions there exists, because that's where I focus on. I really focus on, if I can get into that zone, if I can figure out a way where I only worry about rolls up to then, because everything else is easy. It's like skiing downhill from the minute you get up to like double digits and 12, it should just be like everything is great.
Bettors and players will make money off of an 8 roller if they've been paying attention. But it's not always easy, right? Like you have to make those adjustments. Like you said, if you're betting systems, you have to adjust the system to what it is that's happening. The thing that I love people that play the dark side because I like to knock them off, but I also respect the fact that they're not betting against me. They're betting that it's just not going to return, right? The thing that kills people that play those hybrids is that they don't pick a side. At some point, you need to either hybrid go light or hybrid stay dark and double down on dark and the odds on dark, or you're just going to lose right in the middle. Yeah, you might not lose a lot, but who's staying at a table just to play just for solely entertainment? If that is your goal, a hybrid might work because you're going to mitigate your loss, but you're never really going to win ever. And the goal for me is to win and get the hell out.
Can I tell you what happened at Aria really quickly, since you mentioned a dark side player? So I was there late night, of course. It was awesome. Dude, so I was shooting, and I had a lot of money out. Like 1,200 is what an average bet for me when I'm playing solo. And a woman came up to the table. I could see her in in the corner of my eye because I was getting ready to shoot, and she bought in. But the reason why Aria is such a class top tier joint is that Woody, who was the dealer, he knew that that would have bothered me. Like, but when you've got dealers that know, okay, this person is doing something wrong that would bother the shooter, I knew that he knew, and he knew that I didn't mind that he was taking her money off to the side and not interrupting the roll. I appreciate that fact when they know that they can do something seamless and they do it behind you. Like, that's a thing. Now, interesting enough, after I shot, she ended up going down to the hook, the other side. It was weird. She bought in to my left and then ended up going down there for the next shooter, because there was only 3 shooters on the table. She bet don'ts on both of them. And then I was like thinking, oh man, I hope she fucking doesn't bet the don'ts on me. Right? Did she go down there to screw with me with this much money that she sees I'm betting? Yeah. She was in a Padres hat, by the way. She was in all Padres gear, and it was a woman. So then she didn't even put a bet out. Right? So anyway, I got done with my shot. I went and I went over there and I thanked her. I was like, I loved how you didn't bet the don'ts on me. I said, thank you. I thanked her. So it goes to show you that was I think she just knew, don't bet the don'ts on this guy, but she could bet him on the others. It was this weird sort of, you know what I mean? 2 forces that were just like, we're not gonna.
She felt the energy.
We're not gonna have a confrontation, and I acknowledge that, and so I don't dislike don't betters, but when you're a don't better like that is like aware, I appreciate that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, don't build pyramids, right? Fuzzy said most don't players, they'll clap, when someone hits the point. They'll go out over to the hook, and they know they can put their DCs there without being in the way, put it off to the side, give them a little runway to be able to shoot. And they're just betting aside, right? They're not betting against you. And that's great. But when someone starts, I was at a table one time over at the Orleans, and I walk up, and you could tell that the mood of the table is a little crazy. And I bought in. I was going to be like 2 shooters away, so I'm like, okay, I'll stick around. But they're chanting. There's like a group of fraternity guys, and they're chanting as people are tossing 7, 7, 7, 7, and like they're all playing the don't, and the people are not. I'm like, good Lord, what is their problem? And they're allowing this. Like, they're not saying, it's not them shooting. It's one thing if you're shooting, and like I think Alex Kim has set up like private tables, and they're all playing the don't, trying to get a 7, but they're like screaming towards like a lady that was shooting and just trying to have a good time.
Man.
And so when it got to me, I pounded the shit out of them. I hit 2 come out 7s, a yo. Then I established the point. I knocked every single person but one person, and the one person had to go to the ATM.
Man, back to the frat house you go.
Yeah, right? Get the fuck out of here with that.
Exactly. Dude, shout out Old Bay Crabs. Old Bay Crabs, I was talking about you earlier and how I enjoyed your episode and the fact that you guys were swearing. I loved it. I really did love that you guys got into talking about the psychology of what was going on, and you dove deep into what you're talking about. People should listen to that at the end. That was a good episode. That was a good episode. What are you laughing at, Alfredo?
Ashish's comment. Oh my God. It's true. It wasn't only me. I got Ben and Jeremy to bet it, because so I had a nice roll going. Ashish regresses one time. Then I'm deeper into the roll. He stops again and regresses again. And it wasn't his fault. I'll say this, right? That he literally hands the dealer 110, but he has $800 out there or something. He's like, take my bets down, give me 110. It took 6 minutes for the dealer to understand what he wanted to do. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're on my side and you're slowing the game down. So when it came around, I showed him the $50 that I was putting on the don't. I said, I'm putting it right here. And then Ben and Jeremy both did the same thing. Ultimately, I will say that bet won, but I won money. I did place bets on the light side on every other number, but I just wanted him to know that that was a little douchey. Although it wasn't technically his fault for why it happened, but there's so many dealers now that are green, and so they're taught a certain way, and when someone does something different, that can slow a game down big time.
Yeah. Alfredo, T-Sizzle. Remember when Alex from CQ met us at GVR and we all got on the don'ts and we were all screaming 7?
Yeah. I threw a 7 and then I fucking forgot. I'm like, I'll tell you how to throw a 7. You torpedo the wall. But I'm on the don't. I'm like, oh shit, I just lost that bet. Let me set it, hit a number, and then torpedo the wall. And I did that, and then we 7'd out literally the third roll after establishing a number.
Jobless DGen. If people are chanting the 7s when I'm shooting, my first shot after the come out will hit someone's face. And then Sweet Lou is a little colorful language is a good thing. A little color. Yeah, it is. It is. All right. So Alfredo, in Vegas, then how often are you coming out here, and where are your favorite spots to shoot? Your top 3
it was every 6
here.
months, and then I mean, on years it's different. So because now I'm traveling. I think I did 7 cruises last year.
Oh shit, man! Yeah, cruiser, man.
Yeah, I did 7. Once I started, it's hard to stop. Vegas, I think last year I might have got there like 7 times or something like that. And
when's your next
went to
trip?
Illinois about 3. Next cruise is this upcoming Thursday, so July 2nd, doing a 4-day.
Oh damn!
And then I have one in August 2nd. It's just the Western Caribbean, so Galveston to, I believe, Cozumel, out to sea for a couple days and then come back. And then the next one is an Eastern Caribbean cruise in out of New Jersey.
Garçon.
Garçon.
Okay. Garçon. That's a ETG. Yeah. That's Johnny on the spot, man, with the Junie for a happy mind.
Is that an energy drink or like a seltzer water?
It's one of those things. It's got the adaptogens.
Okay.
I'm just hoping it will do something to me, but it won't. Strawberry hibiscus, though. Nice. It might mellow you out maybe a little bit. Alfredo, I love this picture of you that you have here. Let me show everyone. I really do like this picture, Alfredo. I love that picture, dude. That's like
a bunch of people in the community. That T-Sizzle is the one in the bottom center. You have George right there. You have Waylon, Uncle Mel, Kahuna.
Oh, nice,
myself.
Dude. Who's the guy with the cigar?
The one with the cigar, that's T-Sizzle. T-Sizzle is his handler.
I don't know what anyone looks like. That's cool, man. This is awesome. But I like your pose, dude. I like that. That's like the, it's almost like the reverse Spider-Man.
That was a picture taken over at Casino Quest when they had first opened, and I went there for one of their roll challenges.
Yeah, that's great. Little camper in the house, man. Just real quick to say hello. Always love the shows, but got to go watch USA playing the World Cup. Man, they're playing right now?
USA, 9 p.m. So it would start. Yeah, it just started, it looks like. Yeah.
Who are they playing? I mean, they already made it through.
Turkey.
Yeah.
They made it through and they're number 1. So it's
Turkey.
Oh, 1-1 already. Wow.
Man, okay, we'll get the updates. We'll get the updates, man. You sent me a couple other pictures here. Hold on a second. Let me add this picture, dude. This. So is this how you track, or do you?
No, that actually was Corey. That was my 66 roller, and it showed you how long it took because I hit. If you analyze the numbers there, I ended up hitting 66. Of my rolls were field bets. 33% of my rolls were horns, and I hit a bunch of hardways as well. And so it was a 66 roller that started I think at 3 a.m. and didn't or no, it started earlier than 3 a.m.
Man, this is time stamped and everything, man.
Yeah, it was crazy roll. That
Who
was
did
over
this?
at Juliet. That was my role. It was Sith Lord Espy, Corey. He's sort of part of the community. He's out of Illinois.
Did you say Sith Lord?
Sith Lord Espy. Yeah, he was on.
That's awesome, dude.
He was on the show with John quite a bit, doing some of the tournament craps that John would have.
Well, this is my.
And he literally got an Espy. That's why he named himself Sith Lord Espy.
He got an Espy?
Yeah, he made a half-court shot during a college game.
Oh, wow.
And it was on ESPN, and Dick Vitale, I think, did the call or something like that. So he showed up on the highlights of ESPN.
Oh, that's pretty sweet, man. Well, this is a very detailed with the timestamps. I mean, this is impressive, man. A 66 roller, dude.
Yeah.
How much money did you make on this? And you know what? This ties into that. This ties into what those guys, Old Bay Craps and Dice DJ were talking about. How when you hear about a roll, and then everyone says, "Oh, I would have made this much money on a roll," and that they were actually right.
There's a picture there of what exactly I made. I believe it was like 8,000 or something. Yeah. That was part of the roll. Yeah, I think when we're at the table, you can see the stack that's in front of me. But you could see that the bets that we had on there. I think at one point we get the 10 to nearly max.
Okay, Alfredo, interesting. I was thinking about this, when I was listening to that podcast, because I brought it up. It's not often that you see bets really high. I mean, when you think about it, how often I can name the players. There's 3 players: Bull Gator, Mr. Pressett, and Lip King G-Dub, and Ed at some point. I've seen them all get to that level where you're like, okay, we are in that zone of going for it. But you don't usually see that. I know a lot of people talk about it, but you don't necessarily see it that often. Those guys, I know I've seen it personally, where the bets are up.
I think the great thing of meeting Fuzzy and Ben, we actually put the money in play, right? And sometimes you're going to have a loss, but we're willing to bet and take it to the next level. And sometimes that means that you leave a lot on the table, but you're never going to make a lot unless you're willing to price.
We
consistently do that. So we were on Fuzzy's roll. They were having a hard time on a back-to-back cruise. I got onto the second half of that cruise, and Fuzzy made all of his money back. He made $13,000 on his roll. I believe I ended up making 6.5 or 7 because I split it. I was doing a corporation with someone else, so we technically made about 14, about the same amount off the roll when it was split. But we had a max hit on the 5. He had 2 max hits on the 5. And the crazy thing about this thing, it wasn't my roll, but Fuzzy had been pounding the 9 and the other numbers, so much so that the 5 had not been hit. But the 5 was the ultimate number that we got max hits off of. I ended up pressing the 5, so the first hit ever on the 5, it was already at 100 because everything else was already blackjack, right? And so I'm like, I can't not press here. He had 200 as a start and ended up getting an extra full collect at max hit. And the max hit was 1,000 because we were on a cruise ship.
Yeah. Okay. That must be that's pretty sweet. Let me just get to the lazy dog question. Alfredo, picking a casino, Texas or Vegas, not location, but I want to play at because it wanted to be there right now. Well,
if there was casinos here in Texas, Louisiana and Oklahoma would have serious issues, as well as probably New Mexico, because a lot of their casinos, people would want to come to Texas. Folks that haven't been to Texas would want to come and visit And then you have tons of people. Texas is probably, outside of California, and maybe per capita Hawaii, the third biggest state of degenerate gamblers.
Yeah.
Or, and I don't mean that in a bad way. What I'm trying to say is like people that go and put it into play. You know,
when you
poker or other games.
Are you, so Alfredo, are you now, so am I hearing this right? Do you prefer playing in, prefer playing in on cruises then versus?
I don't prefer it. I mean, it's a best of both worlds to some degree, right? You get some vacation, so you get to go relax. Sometimes get off the ship, sometimes not when your friends aren't treating you right. There's a whole story behind that, but you just get to go visit new places. And one of the great things about being on a cruise ship, so long as the table's not always packed. So like I recommend if someone's new, you're going on one that only has one table, don't play the first hour or two when it opens. Let the people lose their money. That's usually the people that don't know how to play. Come once you have the real players at the table, and then take your shot there. And you can practice in most cruises. So you can practice on the table while it's closed.
Yo Chef says, what is your go-to table in Vegas?
That's a loaded question. There's different ones for different reasons. Bellagio, I think, is probably the most fair of the tables when you're looking for a hard surface. I can stay on a hardway set. Cromwell's probably pretty similar. Aria used to be. It's a little different now since it got refelted. But it's still a solid table. I actually like a table that people don't like, and it's the Golden Nugget. I found a shot that works for me, just shooting right down the line at the end of the field bet. And if you don't have chips there, so you can get a blocker, man, I hit ATSs there in its sides there all the time. Like Fuzzy can tell you, I said, hey, let's go over here. I like this place. Hit an ATS there. And then we went and filmed with Uncle Mel over at Santa Fe. I was the first shooter, and I hit an ATS to start off. And so in a matter of like 2.5 hours, hit two ATSs with back-to-back times that I shot.
Yeah, Fuzzy says, for how bouncy the Orleans is, Alfredo has some big rolls on it.
I've gotten used to it. When you play thousands of hours, or maybe that's but over the years, that's probably what I have put in there.
I think you have to get used to, get
used to it. And that's even my table at home. It's actually semi-bouncy. It's not a totally hard surface.
Jobless Deacon says, Bellagio was refelting their tables when I was there 4 weeks ago. Has there been any change to the bounce? I have not played there. I don't play there that much because I actually don't like the crews there. Yeah. I think their crews are they just kind of bum me out, and I'm one of those. They just bum me out.
I do like Durango. I like the Palms. I like Santa Fe. I used to like Palace, but Palace, you have to pick the right time there at Palace because down the line you don't want to be hitting chips. It seems to really impact the shot.
You think? Yeah, dude. Do you play
People love playing pass lines? I don't get it. Right? Like if you're not shooting, why are you on the pass line if they don't require it? For an ATS.
Well, listen, do you play? What are your thoughts on the ATS? That's always a hot button topic.
It's certainly a positive bet for me, and I'll always bet it on myself.
Yeah.
It's been a reason why I've had winning trips into losing trips.
Sure.
And because I'm betting it on everybody, and then when you cycle in protection of the bet and having to re-put it back up, and if it's not hit, like. A side needs to be hit feasibly every 10 rolls in order, and that includes times that you put it up in order for it to be a positive bet. The all needs to be hit. I would veer to say probably at least 1 out of every 25 in order for you to be positive in that bet. Unless you're betting differently, from person to person. So like if you're betting higher on yourself, but your frequency's higher, you can make that up, but it just depends on how you're playing it.
Yeah, I vary that based
Yeah.
on, that bet sizing changes too. Sometimes it's just as low as 10, 10, 10 on someone, and then that's it. And then I'll
But
just
think
let it
about that,
ride.
right? If you're there
Sometimes I
for
don't bet
50
it.
rolls at 10, 10, 10, and the alls never hit, and maybe you get a couple sides. So let's say 3 sides are hit. That's 350 back 3 times. That's 950. And
Sure.
what did you end up spending on it? You shoot 30 times 50.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
I don't think you see that.
that's not a positive
But
bet.
but I wouldn't play it. Okay, well, factor in how many times you were able to come a number that you were able to throw a lay on there. Now I bet it comes pretty close.
If you
I mean,
lay it, right?
just
Religiously. Yeah.
listen, just on this last session at Red Rock, I
Yeah.
think we were there for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 tosses total. I'm just going to say, right, it's got to be around
Yeah.
10. It was hit 3 times. A side was hit 3 times, and a fourth one was able to put a lay on it as well. So I mean, that's a pretty good percentage, dude. That's over 30% of that you're making money on that. It's paid for itself. But again, I'm
It has
against
to be a
betting.
frequency thing. So I think
Yeah.
like if you're going to bet it on yourself in some capable shooters, where it can get really dangerous is if you see everyone as a capable shooter. And that,
Well,
I don't mean that as a bad thing. You can easily make up $10 on the all and just play the all. But once you start doing 10, 10, 10, that's a whole extra shot if you're starting at 110. It may be more than that because if you have, come out action in order to protect it. And so oftentimes you might be one or two rolls out of getting out of the hand. That puts you another roll behind in order to get back to the even. You just it depends on what you're betting, right? Like if you're betting big bets and one hit already eclipses what you have up there, then bet it every time on everybody.
I think that's the big factor. There's a lot of factors
There has to be
that go into
ratios.
that. Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into that. How big you're betting. I'm betting it always larger on myself. Some people I'm not even betting. Some people I'm just betting, $30, and it can pay for itself.
Look what I so I have back here. Don't work the come out, right? I coined that phrase when I was live on YouTube like over 4 years ago because I did the analysis around the fact that like a bunch of us had live tables and we were posting all our lives with all of the different shooters, and the come out 7 happens a lot more. And so when I mean don't work the come out, it really isn't have a 6-8 working. What it means is don't have 5, 6, 8, 9 working or a full across. If you want to hop a number, that's totally fine. But by working the come out, you're going to be negative somewhere down the line. All it takes is 2 short rolls.
Do you? But
for
I mean, I don't know.
The
only argument that the only time I would ever work a come out roll is on a crapless table. It's the only time I would ever really work it.
Yeah. Get the extremes and pass lines a winner.
Yeah. I mean, that's
that's sound betting so long as you're not playing 10 numbers working, unless you're playing them
I would agree with you that you shouldn't be working to come out for some. I just don't. I sort of feel like you're forcing it a little too much. I bet Dice Coach would probably agree with that. I bet he would. You are, almost forcing the action. I feel like it's always gone wrong when I've tried to work the come out, and get
ATS
that extra
is a great
rolling.
thing. Fuzzy, myself, Ben, all of us, when we've made our biggest money, it's never been from the ATS. It's been from someone going on some pound town number and getting multiple max hits, and you're getting paid more than what we would be willing to play the ATS. The most I'm typically going to play the ATS at is a quarter. And I'm not going to be doing that all the time, but I'll do 10, 15, 10 on pretty much anybody and everybody if I wanted to, if I'm up.
Really, I will not do that on everyone. I'm picky.
That's why I've had some wins turned into losses because I was up $4,000 and the last day I gave $5,000 back.
Yeah. What are your? I mean, do you? I'd say like when you get into the random versus trusted shooters and who you're going to bet on, see, I can be at a table and not bet on people now. Whereas I used to, I used to just plan on betting on everyone. Now I don't. I factor it in, whereas I'm actively trying to limit those to not even having those players on the table, so that I'm only so that everything is as efficient as possible, and you're with like a few, shooters where you feel comfortable at least betting something.
The most dangerous table is a table filled with capable shooters. And the reason is,
explain.
The reason is your filter goes away, right? You trust all of them, and all of them are capable in their own right at any given time. But when a table's bad sometimes, or dice are bad on that given day, no one's going to be a hero. I was on a table over at the Orleans. We literally created a private table when most towns didn't allow you to do private tables, but because of the level of bettors and people, we were able to, with a host, get that squared away. Chef Dice was on the table. I was there. We had Stacy there. He's a 3-time Golden Arm winner. We had Ben, a 4-time Golden Arm winner. The table had Reynolds, who had gone on multiple 50 and 60 rollers that were documented. Other people were at the table for. And every single person didn't get past 4. And by the time it got back around, right, to where it was going to get back to the first person, most people had already rebought twice. I was still on the same buy-in, but at that point, I need to make a decision. Do I leave, or do I continue to think that someone's going to turn the table? If a table's shit or dice are shit, sometimes you need to go take a break. And that's the hardest thing, in not betting on everybody the same way. It will help you adjust, because you could lose a lot of money even playing 66 inside on a bunch of PSOs, because you're probably never going to collect, right? You're going to say, oh, well, I want to get it to green chip before I collect anything, all of them. Or I want to get it to where I'm collecting $100 before I do a collection. Well, you're limiting your ability because someone doesn't get there. That might have been a good roll that you never collected anything off of.
Sweet Lou says, what are your views on tipping the shooter who had a long roll and hit the ATS and or fire bet?
I think you should always tip a shooter. If you're betting more than 5 in the center, right? You're betting 10 in the center and they've hit an all, tip them $100. Doesn't matter if they're capable and they have money, right? Recognize the fact that they've made you some pretty good money. I will actually tell, like Arnell, who's out there, Giuseppe, we've bribed them before, and then they fucking hit the number. I'm like, oh, I'm glad to pay you it. I actually hopped it to cover it, right? But it's recognizing the game, right? Like, they helped get you somewhere. Maybe it got you unstuck and into the profit. I did that one time on a random. Who actually had a really long roll. It wasn't even an ATS. It was like he pounded out a number. I gave him, I think, $150. He goes and puts it in the field multiple times and loses. So I need to rethink that next time and look at how the person's betting, not just the fact that they made me all this money, because they do some dumb shit like that. I'm going to give them a quarter or $50.
Yeah. Yeah. I like tipping people that have no money and they hit the ATS.
I'll put them on numbers, right?
Those are the ones that have they're betting with nothing and they go on. They made no money, and you make cleaned up. So, Alfredo, what are your it seems I already know we play differently in the time aspect of it, whereas I feel like you're at a table for a long time. I'm not at tables for that long of a period of time. And it's also factors in the amount of people that are actually on the table with me. But how long are your typical sessions? And what are you buying in with? If you just had to, my average buy-in is this.
My average buy-in's probably 1,000, but I buy in for 1,500 or 2,000, or I'll buy in for 500 if things are going bad and I just want to give it a shot. If it's a $15 table. But if it's a $25 table, you can't buy in for less than 1,000, and even 1,000 is just not enough, right? Like
On a $25 table,
you're playing on a
yeah.
$25 table, should be buying in
Right.
for 2,500 probably to give yourself a legitimate shot. But yeah, no, I don't short buy. I take cash. I never go to the ATM, or I should say, I haven't done the ATM for years.
Yeah.
And because you learn that lesson just not to do it. If I'm gonna bring what I'm comfortable spending,
it seems like it never ends up well when you go to the ATM. I've done it two times, and I remember where it was. One was at Mandalay Bay, and one was actually at Cromwell. And both
was it playing craps or was it poker?
Playing craps.
Okay.
Playing craps, because I wanted more. And it was like another $500, and I was playing a much different game, much different everything back then. But it never goes well when you're going to the ATM. That's one thing. And I know a guy that actually a slot player that ends up going and goes to the ATM. I know a lot of guys that end up doing that. I think it's a really bad habit. It gets you in trouble. Globe asks, well, and Yo Chef asks, ATS or repeater bets, which do you prefer? And Alfredo, at what level are you playing the ATS? So two things: repeater versus ATS, and what level are you playing it?
I prefer the repeater over the ATS. It can get frustrating, but you get paid more. I mean, Fuzzy will tell you, like, he hit the 5 twice on the repeater, and then I ended up getting like the 12, the yo, the 9s, the very next roll as repeaters, and we're both making tons of money. You end up physically making more, but you can also, to your point, that when you get really close, you can lay multiple numbers, because you might be one away from the 5, one away from the 6, one away from the 8. We were at the Orleans, and people had left, ended up hitting 6 of the repeaters, actually hitting them, and I was one away from 2 of the other numbers. Almost able to clear most of them. It was. What do
you bet on the repeaters? Because I approach the repeaters just like I approach the ATS. It's they're
$5 initially, $5 initially on the specific number, and then if it hits, I'll go to 15. If I'm that new hardway all day hardway bet,
the bet that I came up with
15 or 25 on that, because that's something that I can hit, and I believe in it. But ATS, I'll play usually 10, 15, 10 on myself, or 10 quarter 10, or 15 quarter 15, or quarter. It just depends. Where is it at? Like, am I starting a roll? I might go quarter because I'm not down, I'm not up. I'm willing to take the chance. If I'm deeper into the session and I'm down a little bit, I might start to clock it back.
I don't like the fact that a few of the repeaters you see that are on, and they end up on crapless tables, which takes away an element of the game, which that element is nice. But you have to go in there aware of that. It's really nice to be able to, and that's why I'd encourage people to play that. They can play for each number for $10, man. That gets juicy. You can hedge that whole thing easy, just like it's an ATS. Easy.
Yeah, fire bet all the time if I'm shooting, and sometimes even on everyone else. If
have you ever hit it? Have you hit the 6.5?
Oh yeah, I've hit this. Arnell and I both hit it together.
Really?
I think in one trip where Arnell and I, that was one of the first things of getting into the community. I had gone up to Illinois, and I met with Arnell, and he's a hell of a shooter. Like, a lot of people don't know. Like, he puts a lot of time into it, but he's more rhythm. Like, he does an inline toss, and I think there was one session he hit the all. I hit a 5-point fire bet. I hit a side. He hits a 5-point fire bet. And then we go to another casino.
Did you put a lay bet down once you had that? Once you were going for that?
I think we did on the 5.
Yeah,
not
that
on
makes
the 6.
sense, man. That jump is massive.
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna hit. I mean, even on that 4th one, you're gonna make $2,000. Well, I'm betting it at $10, but you're gonna make $2,000, and then it jumps up. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, those bets are nice. And again, you're going to still make your most money. That's going to be just an add-on. Does that money recover the monies that you're betting on the bonus bets? Does that money recover the money that you're betting in the center bets or your hops? And that's really, they're two separate bankrolls. You give yourself some frivolousness to make a little bit of a bonus, and you give yourself money to actually make money off of repeat numbers.
Yeah, I would respectfully disagree with you on that. I never break up bankrolls when I think about the game.
Well, no, you don't break it up. It is the same, but you need to think of it like I need to fund that not from the roll, because you have to have a clear mind of where you're making your money from in order to know whether or not you're doing well.
I agree with you. I think as a roll continues, you start harvesting different bets. Those are long-term, those are like little seeds that you plant that as you go on in the roll, you then like can harvest later. I'm never just playing a roll for that.
My cardinal sin, what I told you and you said to remind you about, is if all your bets are pretty high, you're deep into you start to get to substantial bets, you have to have a perpetual horn. You're losing money every single roll if you're not betting a horn every single time. And then you can bet it smaller and then parlay it.
But for people that don't understand that, explain. So you're at what point? Define perpetual horn, which I'm assuming you're calling a perpetual horn. At some point in a roll after it's gone on, and I'll ask you like what number that is or X amount, you will.
If I have over 400 on the table on the place bets, I need to have a perpetual horn. I might even start with a C&E once I'm up to like 300 on the table, like 2C, 1E, and then parlay it. Because your worst enemy is having multiple blank hits. And the biggest area you can get multiple blank hits is multiple horns in a row. And that's your opportunity to make money, because that second hit is where you're going to accelerate because you parlayed it.
Oh, man. That second hit, that's a pog. Yeah, man. A lot of guys are shooting blanks sometimes, dude. So
yeah, that might be the only place you make money. Yeah.
So, okay. So your perpetual horn starts at like when you see that you've got like, so you're looking at the table, not necessarily the number of rolls. It's more what you have out on the felt. And that's your cue to say, okay, I need to now bring in and always have a horn bet so that I don't miss a roll.
Yep. And if I start big, I have a horn to begin with, even if it's a $5 horn high ace deuce or yo, and I'm looking to either half parlay it. So like, if it pays 26, take that to 16 or something like that, or full parlay it in order to get a substantial hit.
Well, okay. So just to skip around again, all over the place, like we're doing, do you have a necessary, because then we can have a whole episode. We can have 5 episodes on a come out game. Are you playing a specific?
Oh yeah. I'm a big come out game action. Even though I say don't work the come out, I have world bet ace deuce typically is what I like the most. Okay. And sometimes I'll even hop the hard ways if someone's hitting hard ways or if I'm hitting hard ways.
Yeah, I will definitely hop a hard, like a dominant hard way. Not all hard ways, but I will hop a dominant one that I feel someone has a propensity to throw, like in Mr. Pressett, who after you observe it, now he bets that. I mean, you should be betting that, or if I'm throwing from stick right, I'm always going to hop that hard 10 with this set from this stick position because I know. But so, okay, I like that, man. I like that. So
here's another nugget.
Reminds me of Ed's. Then it's very much.
Here's another nugget for you though.
Give me the nugget.
And this was something that saved me a ton of money. I will tell you, like I've made more money off of this than anything else. Okay, whether it's bonuses or whatever. Okay. And Uncle Mel shared with me, one of his friends, Mike, who passed away about a year and a half ago. He was a heavy bettor, and he would not collect until it was a $500 collector hire, right?
Okay.
And he would consistently go out black chip and then just keep pressing until you collected something at 500. But he had one rule, and that's if he goes 3 rolls without collecting, he takes his 2 biggest bets and he pays himself. Because the next hit, you can always press it right up and get it right back to what it was, or even higher than what it was with a power press.
Shout out Mudslide Mac. Howdy, everyone. Just dropping by quick. All the best. Mudslide. Do you know Mudslide?
Yep. Yeah. And there's a lot of people in the community that we used to play with. Lou, I played with him over at the Orleans before. I think over on the Strip as well. Yeah.
That's okay, Mudslide. Can't stick around. Sorry to say. That's all right. Thanks for popping in, saying hello, walking by and waving. Yeah. So that's so you do have a come out game very similar to what Ed and I talked to, that sort of the World Ace Deuce.
Yeah. Hop the reds. If I'm on quarter, I might have a $12 hop on the reds to start with.
Yep.
If I hit one, I'm gonna press it up to 21 or something like that, and then go from there.
Yeah, there's an aggressive come out game. If you're playing that with a purpose and a plan, it could be really, really nice. It could set you up for success, or it's almost like found money. When you
were in Biloxi and with Ed, and Adam threw 10 rolls before the 11th roll where he ultimately established a point. And I didn't get into the roll until roll number 3, and I think collected over 2,000 off of the come out roll.
Oh my god, dude!
It was ridiculous. I was like, if he's gonna keep hitting, I'm gonna keep bumping it. And
yeah, that is ridiculous, man.
It was freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey, Big AZ out there. How's it going?
Big AZ. Big AZ is gonna be on the show. We got him on the calendar. Yeah, that'll be good.
He's one of the hardest working guys in craps, and he does a lot of stuff just for the community, right? Just for our own entertainment.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Hey Alfredo, good to see you back on YouTube from Biloxi Craps and Dark Crown. Great info tonight, 1010 and Alfredo. Well, Alfredo, I really like what I really love about, doing these shows is that I can see it's nice that people get together, or people now, Mudslide, for example, he called me, he's like, hey, I'm going to Detroit. I'm like, I got the guy for you. Huggy Bear, call Huggy Bear. And then you connect them. And then, it's good. People need to meet other players that are thinking on a certain level. And there's levels of thoughts. When you talk to players, you can gauge where they are at, as a player, or in their journey as a craps player. It's like, oh man, this guy's a deep thinker, and he's playing, considering all of these scenarios, and you're very well versed in all of this, especially on the betting side, dude, which is really nice. I love talking to people that have that, that really have. I mean, we could talk about any sort of bet. It'd probably be very interesting just to go through, like, hey man, this is how I play this exact situation. How would you play that? I was actually thinking, do you ever think when you were first focusing on betting, were you ever nervous when your bets got up to a certain level? Or did you, because I actively on purpose put myself in uncomfortable situations so that I would become less nervous when I was there. For example, when I first, because I remember these moments when I had like 1,000 behind in odds, like part of me was doing that to force myself to do it so that when the situation came up again, I wouldn't be freaking out about, look, I got $1,000 out here, or I've got, oh my God, look at my, I can't believe I got black chips up there way back when, and now it's like, okay, I want to get this thing up to this level. Like I have to get it up to here quick.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of thoughts when it comes to that, because the first time you ever get to that big hit, sometimes that becomes a hurdle to overcome. There was literally a time where every single time it seemed like, but it was literally 7 times that I got the 10 to 1,000 and it never got hit. It was like, that was a hurdle number for me. So what I ended up doing, because I didn't want to feel, if I was a shooter, nervous about the bet that was out there, I'd go 800 and then skip 1,000 altogether and go to 1,200 or go to 1,500.
Oh, you were playing mind games with it.
Yeah, because that just became a friggin' hurdle. The first time you ever get a bet that's out there at 300 and it gets hit, and then 600 it gets hit. Once that you see that it's just another number, depending on where you started from, and if you've collected enough, I like to say, if I'm in a hand and I'm 15 rolls in, I should probably have about 40% in my rack of what's been paid out and 60% out there. And at some point you want to get to like a 50-50, but then there's other things you need to consider. Are you down for the session, down for a trip? And if you were to go to 100 each number and you have 1,800 out there, or you have 3,000 out there and you were to go, 220 or 220 inside, that would get you back into the green. Do you do that? It's like some people would say, no, you don't. But if what you have out there is substantial to what you've collected, you might make that decision because you've been having a bad time.
I love what you're saying right now, because you're talking about these
the money management.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not know, like, that you're basing some of your decisions on other factors, which a lot of people don't. I feel like it sort of sometimes gets ignored, or like why you might be doing things and why you might not be pressing up, or why are you being a pussy, or why are you taking this down? And it's always, then this goes back to what those guys on the Full of Chips podcast were talking about. They were talking about how some people don't even know, what they made, or how they're up or down, or something like that. And it struck me, because I'm like, how do you not know where you are in a hand? It's the one thing that I can always answer at any moment. It's the one thing that I'm like so preoccupied with, is what my bankroll rack status is. If I'm down to 100, 200, I always know where I am. And that's a thing. And then I know, well, given this other session, maybe I can pull this down now and I'm good, or like, I don't have to keep going. I'm factoring in where I am in the bigger picture. And those sort of extraneous circumstances are playing a part into this role, because I'm still managing money. I mean, it's all tied together, but it's like, oh, you know what? I'm down at Paris, and which happened the other night. I was in the hole at Paris for 3,000, but I made them all, right? And so I ended up getting that back and then some. My whole session was geared towards this other debt that I had there. And I was thinking, okay, I was managing my bankroll in that role based on, things that maybe a lot of people wouldn't have been considering. But I think you should be considering those things, or I can't help myself. I'm always looking at, okay, where am I in the big picture? But you bring that up, and I don't hear a lot of people bringing that up. And the decisions that you're making, it's just because you're managing not only your role at the time, but also maybe your role for your previous session. I don't think they are mutually exclusive. I think they're still all tied together. I mean, I play off markers, so that's an important thing. So I'm just like, I need to pay this. Like, my goal here is to chip away at this. If I can pay it all off, great, and then be in profit and leave with cash, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, decisions are based on that all the time. And anyway, long-winded to say, I don't understand how people don't know if they're up or down, or where their rack is at any given moment. You should be able to say, yeah, I'm down $100, $200.
the thing as a shooter that I've seen the most and is disappointing because not enough people share it, right? Casinos love shooters because it brings people start getting excited. They start betting more money. They see that shooter has a ton of money on the table. They see the shooter collecting a bunch of money. What they don't tell you is that shooter, when smart, if it's a full table, is going to cash all those chips in. People have pulled more money out of their pocket because they're chasing the same bets that or payouts that other people are getting, and they're in the moment with the adrenaline and everything else, wanting to get that same payout, that jackpot that everyone else is getting, and they don't leave the table till they're totally out of chips. It's never yours until you hit the fucking cage, and you have to make sure that when you hit a high point, make a decision. Either you put most of it in your pocket and say, I'm only going to play with 500, and that's all I get to give back, but you got to lock it away, and because then you can chip away at it. Like, hey, go tear up that slip, or tear up two of the slips, right? In order to get there. But I love your question because, it's not just an easy answer. You will never make money if you don't know how to press and take advantage of the big rolls. The big rolls can make up 2, 3, 4, 5 losing sessions in one. And that's where the advanced crap player makes the difference. They're not afraid. At some point you get desensitized to Fuzzy's point of having big bets out there because you've been in that spot.
Yeah, because Fuzzy had a couple good points. This one was shooting on all the lives that Alfredo shows has desensitized me from shooting with real money and being nervous no matter what my bet level is. True in general. I think repetition and just time at a table will help with all of that. And I think that's good. It's like when you've done it before. Hey, dude, when you're golfing, and you'd go to the range and there are things that you would think about, like your elbow or where your elbow was or all this stuff. And these are things that you end up, you stop thinking about that. Or maybe you're thinking about, your grip. At some point, all these things just become, you've done it so many times and now you're thinking about what you're going to do on your next shot, like where you're going to place it. And that's what you get. Same thing with craps. It's like, okay, I'm going to hit all these. I'm going to get inside. I'm on my 10th roll. I'm going to be here. That's how I'm thinking. But I want to get back to this other question, which was this casting. Since this is a semi-comedy podcast, it is comedy. Give us a funny or wild thing you've seen on a craps table, Alfredo.
Wild? Oof. I've seen fights at a table. Someone said something to someone because that literally got offended by someone betting like the donut on them. Yeah. They went over to the guy. They had some words, and then the guy knocked the guy out. I've seen that's crazy shit, right? Like you have the security come take the guy out and ban him. I've seen. So Fuzzy will tell you. We were in a corporation together, and we were betting pretty substantial bets on a cruise, and a friend was shooting Giuseppe, and everyone was so excited that he was throwing so many horns. And at some point we say, stop feeding the animals. And they're literally, this one guy was throwing money from down the line straight out. He's shooting stick left 1, and he's throwing it behind his hand as he's getting ready to shoot. I'm like, I end up screaming at the stick guy, can you take control of this and say no bet so the guy stops doing that, right? Like you need to control the thing. It happens another 5 times. And it doesn't help that he's fucking throwing aces, ace deuce. So the guy feels like he's going to miss out if he doesn't keep doing this. And it's a long roll. And I was either going to go over there and punch the guy in the face and get put in the brig and not have a fun cruise and maybe get banned from the cruise line. I got all my money, and I had a lot of money out there, and I slammed it at the table and I said, cash me in the middle of his roll. And this is a friend because I was going to be pushed to the point of literally going and knocking a guy out. And Fuzzy reluctantly got his money and put it in too, because we were playing together as a one unit thing, even though we had separate bankrolls. Like I was getting uptown, he was getting downtown. And as shitty as that is, because I would never want to do that to a friend, I had to, at that point, my emotions were so high, I was going to go do something I was going to really regret, and that could, lead to getting locked up or whatever.
Yeah, man, walking the plank. I think you would have to walk the plank, dude. What are your thoughts when you have an H Young, or is that Hyung? Alfredo, what are your thoughts when you have a shooter with long rolled and 7 out? Should everyone pass dice back to him/her?
If most of the people know the people at the table, and you feel like that guy was locked in or girl, I'm there to make money. I don't give a shit if it's me shooting or someone else shooting. Like, get it right back to the hot shooter. It doesn't guarantee it, but I've had quite a few people back up their rolls. But then you have sometimes where they PSO right after. Yeah. But would you give that chance? Absolutely. If it's someone random, absolutely not. Like, take your shot, unless it's only a couple people at the table, right? If it's a couple people at the table, you're still going to get the dice back pretty soon.
Would you give the dice back to someone? Because I do. Would you give the dice back to a shooter that PSO'd? And I give the dice right back to someone that I'm at a table with that PSO'd, because I want them to figure it out. Yep. I think it's too long of a wait. That's not necessarily a hot take. It's just how I prefer to run a table. If you're there to shoot,
you learn nothing off of a PSO, right? So you need to get someone warmed up or someone a chance to be able to figure it out, to your point. And so would I? Absolutely. Probably just not on someone that I'm unaware or is not trying to set the dice. If they're just slamming the wall, no, I'm not going to pass that to that person.
Yeah. Matt Hatter, shout out with the Fibonacci. Yeah. Yep. Crabsmaster Journey says, but on the flip side, Fuzzy's not afraid to bet even before he became a good shooter.
One of the great things, so you talked about the community, right? Setting people up with other people that are in their town. And hey, Lou and them built that AC group once we started doing community, and they have a great group of people out there. You have people over in Las Vegas, you have people in Illinois, you have people here in Texas.
Boston.
We meet up over in Lake Charles. There people over in Boston with Jay-Z and Sleepy's over there, and quite a few other shooters.
Oh, I don't know any of those guys. I just know BRB up there, and
I can connect you with a lot of people.
Yeah, you should connect, because those guys, those guys are great.
Yeah, the thing for me was Fuzzy came up to meet Arnell and I during a meetup that we had over in Illinois, and he was just in the background, right? And he had played craps, and I guess he saw my channel and Arnell's channel, and he wanted to come and see it live. And I immediately walked up and said, hey, I know this guy has to be like wanting to meet up with us. You have to be welcoming, right? Like, we welcomed him in. I didn't know he was a competitive shooter. So he was a marksman shooter that even went to like a qualifier for the Olympics.
A shooter
for shooting. Yeah.
Oh,
so hand-eye coordination, right? So he has a propensity to know that, you have to judge things out. He could be a good shooter. He's, we start talking. He ends up building his own table, and then he comes to other meetups. It helps that the first couple of meetups we actually did really well, because he made a lot of money. He's like, oh fuck, I'm like super hyped back into this. But he had previously just been throwing the dice in any old way. He used to love the betting part of the game. Gave himself a timeout, and then during COVID, whatever, had a resurgence by seeing some of us that were on YouTube, and the guy's one of the best shooters. I would go and bet on him how I would bet on myself any fucking day of the week. He's one of the few people that can hit repeater bets after having a short roll. This is Fuzzy. Greg.
Yeah. Oh, Fuzzy? Yeah.
Yeah. So he came up to us, walked up to us, and it, here we are 3 years later, and he's still perfecting his craft. He's now interpreting what his dice are doing and making adjustments. It's great.
Yeah, Fuzzy likes it when I play this. Hold on a second. And who's Jay-Z?
No chair.
Who's Jay-Z?
Jay-Z is a Silver Fox.
Silver Fox?
Yeah, that's Jay-Z.
I don't know who that is. That's a cool handle, though.
He has his own YouTube channel. You may subscribe to him, and he does some lives on Thursdays and does some afternoon ones. Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Tell stories. Bunch of stories at the casino. Yeah.
This is for Fuzzy. Fuzzy.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta get that in there for Fuzzy.
Yeah. Yep. He has a kitty cam now on his table. Since he built a second table at home. So he had one at his shop initially, and he's so fanatical that he's like, fuck, I can't like have to drive to my shop 30 minutes. He built one at his house, and it took a whole room up.
Fuzzy's a cool dude, man, and he's a good shooter, man. Man, I had my 6 up to like, I don't know what I had. It was approaching 3,000 at that point when he was there with Moonshine. He was just, he was banging it, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys in that, I know you mentioned Joliet, which is
Harris out in Illinois. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I always love that. I always love that city name, Joliet. You know, so do you get together that crew? Who would you say is in that crew that meets up over there? Is it Wisco? Is it Wisco?
Ben, you have Fuzzy, you have Corey, Rich Ducey is another player. You have Chris, Demon Dog Dice.
Demon Dog.
We had actually Craps Master Journey, Joe, would come up from Wisconsin as well.
Nice.
We have Jesse, who's out there. He got a table, and he's proven to be
Jester.
a pretty
Jester.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trying to think who else would be, and so Arnell. I mean, he's the staple. Like they used to call it, like when they came up with the Inside Easies, you know, they call it the Arnell bet over in the Dice Grinder bet over at Joliet, because he would hop the Inside Easies and just
that's when you know
do a martingale on it. Right? Yeah. When that became a fad about 2 years ago, and he still does it today. In order to build a bankroll from 100, he might start hopping the Inside Easies to begin with, and once he gets a little bit up, he'll shoot himself into a good roll. I've been on great rolls with him.
So Alfredo, your betting style.
Sling was also in Illinois before he moved to Vegas. Yeah. And there was one other.
Well, are you one of Tony Leo's guys? I mean, you know, Tony Leo has a lot of guys, but
okay. So Tony Leo, the first time they had the Craps for the Cure, it was live. He was doing some coaching, right? Okay, and we had it was filmed live and whatever, and he's telling about the different system he has, right? Like you buy in for this amount, and you incrementally martingale it up, and you have the hops on the 6s and 1s as a separate bet, and then you also have the field as a separate bet, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not martingale, maybe
he has different levers, sort of things going on.
So but he had like, this is what the buy-in is. He's like, it's foolproof. You're not gonna, you're rarely ever gonna see it knocked out. I'm like, don't work to come out. I can get on fits, and it's a consistency thing. A bunch of 7s in a row. And he's like, you can't break the system. This was live. I'm like, are you sure? It's like, okay, work the bet. I throw 7 7s in a row, and
the complete
amount that he had as the buy-in was obliterated. Yeah.
Wow.
Live.
Wow, you threw 7 7s in a row.
7 7s in a row. Yeah.
Man, I would have made like $15,000 on 7 7s. That's probably more than that, actually. On how I
think he lost 25,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I mean,
Giuseppe. How can I forget Giuseppe? Fuck's sake. Yeah,
Yeah,
Giuseppe's. Yeah,
bring the cannolis.
yeah.
But how would you describe your betting style then? I mean, is it,
Yeah,
do
I
you have
think
a
it's like
set?
what you said. Yeah, no, it's not. There's no set thing.
Yeah.
I like the 410. There's so many people that just like the inside. I'll if I'm quarters on the inside or 220 on the inside, I still might throw a quarter or $20 if it's a $15 table on the 410 because I know if they hit, I'm gonna be like,
Alfredo, let
it's
me
that
ask you.
FOMO thing. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
pissed at myself for
yeah, but
not being
let me
on.
ask you this. Yeah, I don't have FOMO at the. I don't
Yeah,
even. I just don't have that anymore. I used to. I think it's
yeah.
natural to start. Now like there's going to be plenty of rolls and you can get on it.
Hmm.
But do you have a default when you're shooting? We go out
Hmm.
to play. You step up to a table. Let's just call it Palm. So I have a table there. I'm going to be there. Let's say
Yeah,
you, me, Moonshine, Wisco, Fuzzy there.
yep.
Okay, that's the table. Do you have a
If it's my first shot, it might be 160 across,
so
and
you will bet
and
across?
play a horn. Yeah,
So you will bet across? Yeah, I don't bet
I'll bet
across.
across, or if I'm shooting well, it might be 220 inside with quarter on the 410. So you know, 270 plus the ATS, whatever it is to start.
Your as a roll progresses,
Hmm.
your thought process on see my thought process is always different.
Yeah,
I play a very short game, and so obviously I'm going to start, and my whole plan is to just take down chunks on a roll. I just want to build up a
yeah.
cushion of profit. But are you like your plan? Let's say you do have that across. What is are you? Do you have a set sort of operating procedure? Okay, what's on your 5? 25?
So 20, 25 or 35, depending on where
Okay.
I'm starting, or even 50, right?
Okay. Let's just say
And
let's say let's say it's 50. Okay, let's
yep.
say it's 50 on the 5. Your next
Hmm.
5, do you know, like in your head, do you know immediately what you're going to do with that $70?
I used to do different things, and so now it is different than what it used to be, and so maybe in the last year that's materialized more with playing with Fuzzy to make the 5 and 9 both 75 each, and
Okay,
so I'm only collecting $20,
so you
and
will
then
so your move is, and that's good to have that everyone has
mhm,
sort of moves. So you will press those sisters up.
yeah, early
It,
on pressing the sisters makes sense. Once you're past in a double digit roll, press the one that's hitting the most, unless something is severely down. And if something's severely down, I might pop it or throw a little extra on it.
See, I would agree with you. Only for me personally, I will only press a 4 and 10 sister at a certain level when it's at 50s because I just want them to go to hundreds, and then
Yeah,
they operate on their own. And then
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
never
Once they
pressing
hit
a
a certain
sister.
point,
Yeah.
you got to be pounding the
Okay.
what's hitting. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's say now if you just press those up, the 5 and 9, and you've got them at 75, 9 hits. What are you going to do?
You're supposed to take them both to 1 1/4. Uh, both of them.
You're still gonna press them both up to
Yep.
one
And
and a
then
quarter.
the next hit is you take a big collect. So at that point, Fuzzy's
Okay.
probably going to try to get them both to 250 or to 200, or I'm going to take a big collect there after that.
Okay. Interesting. On your 6 and 8s, let's say you're starting at 60. Okay. Those bets.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say your point's 10. All right. And you've got,
Mm-hmm.
let's just for whatever, we're going to go 210 inside or 220 inside.
Yep.
Your 6 and
Yep.
8 are 60. That and 8 rolls. What are you doing? Are you pressing them? Are you pressing both?
Probably not. On the 6/8, I like to stay singular unless it's less than 42. So if
Okay.
it's less than 42, I'm probably pressing the one number up. It may be to 90, it may be to 120, and
Okay.
then 180, 240.
Okay,
So on.
you have set presses. Obviously, I know you do. I'm
Mhm.
not surprised. I would assume that you have
Yeah.
a set pressing schedule. I think everyone should have a set pressing schedule,
Yeah.
memorized inside and out, and you know what you're going to do immediately. There's no question. And if you don't, obviously, as Ed says, just same bet.
Yeah.
collect it. If you like,
Yeah.
if your just brain just short circuits, but that's good. Everyone should have that. Everyone should be able to go, yeah, at this level, I'm going to take it to here. And then my move after, well, see, I'm always going to bet if I'm going to go, if I'm at $60 on a 6 and 8, my move is always going to be 120. And then the next one, I'm actually going to take it to 150. And then I'm going to change it. But it's always, it's different. The press schedule is different for me depending on where I start. It's always in those first rolls, because ideally I need to get it up to, I want it at 150. Like that's where I really want to start. And that's, but when you're starting from levels below, it's interesting how many things you can do. They involve pressing sisters. They involve like quarter presses, half presses, getting up there. But the point is that you know exactly what you're going to be doing. And it kind of also goes back to what we were saying. Some of those decisions are going to be based on if you're up, down, or even, or where you are in your rack, right?
Yeah. I might be more aggressive up front and bet 330 and look for a couple of hits and then come down not to 160, because I think that's the easiest way to lose money overall is to start big and then come all the way down to a quarter. If you're betting over 330, if you're betting 440, whatever you're betting, you need to make sure that your ratios are proper when you come back down, that you should come down to 220 instead of that. So you still want substantial bets
all right,
out there.
So are you doing any sort of multiple
not multiple regressions ever.
Okay, I
what
don't,
I might
do that either.
Yeah, what I might do is I might take a bigger press. So I might be at 240 on the 6 or 8 and then go to 420, right? Collect a very small amount. Maybe I put it on the hard way. That next one, I'm dropping $10 and I'm collecting 500.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pound town. After that, it's like, if you're not half pressing, you're losing. You're losing
in
money.
The hot tub. Yeah, dude. But the point is, in that for everyone that's here, to me, this is a high level conversation and if you're a beginning player and new to this, you should be able to, like, when you can start having these conversations, that you've gotten somewhere, like at all these levels where you're going to go, or you have a plan on where you're going to go. And I think that there's more variation when it is low levels there, because there are so much, it's almost easier when the bets are bigger, right? The decisions almost like they like sell themselves. They're easy.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Right. You start getting big bets out there. Maybe it's not you shooting, or maybe it is you shooting. So you can take it from both guys and answer it differently depending on how your answer is. You've now gotten your bets where you have, let's say, 3 or 4 bets out there that are above 200. A number, right? Or
very common,
number, right?
Very common.
300 number. Is there anything that happens at the table that might trigger you to reduce that?
Yeah, plenty of things that could happen at a table. It is a great. You know what? I'm glad you asked that. So when I was at Paris, I went to Paris, and earlier this week, I made them all. I was shooting, and I did I guess you'd call it a mutant 3V, right? Which was a 6-4-3-2. And it's funny because I was talking to Moonshine about this earlier, but it's funny because I had 2 guys that were there because I had the limit to at 100, so no one could play, right? So it was just me and one other person. And so I'm like, okay, I think I figured this out. That landing zone, it's great on Paris. Table 252, you can throw it from stick left 1, land right on that 4 fire bet. I think it's the best table in Vegas right now, that table. So I'm like, this should hit. If this is everything as I think's right, I should pound insides with this set. And then I did. So I started like this. I throw 500 inside. So my starting on myself is going to be 100 on the 5, 100 on the 9, 150 on the 6 and 8. Okay. First hit, 250. I drop 10, I go to 250 on the 5. Okay. And if I hit the 9, 250. This is what happened. Literally hit the 6. That goes to 300. Collect a quarter. Hit the 8. at 300 because the point was a 4. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm pressed up. I know exactly what I'm doing. Next hit on the 5, I take down 500. I regress back to my starting. The next hit on the 9, down to take 500. On the 6, I take 500. On the 8, take 500. So I've hit all those numbers twice. I've pulled in $2,000, right?
Nice.
And I was watching. This guy was watching me. Then I hit my point with full odds on it, which was paid $700 because I had 100 on the line, full odds, 700. Something happened at the table. The roll continued. This is the roll. Was it when I made it all? I don't know. It was either the roll, but I think it was a roll before that. Something happened at the table. It was just something was weird, but I had this, just trust your instincts. And I took down, I'm like, take down all my bets. Take down, leave the 8 working and take these down. And then I ended up hitting the 8, which is weird. And then I took everything down. Right? It was like it was a master class in instincts.
Yeah.
And then I threw a 7. Right? But I squeezed every amount of all the money you could out of that roll. And but something had happened. I don't know exactly what, but it was enough for me to go, you know what? I had the thought, and then you act on the thought. So I really trust my instincts.
Yep.
And if I just have at this point, I don't even care. I'm like I said, FOMO isn't a thing for me. The fact that I was just
but you trust your gut. Yeah.
Putting all this money back in my rack, and I was like, fuck, this is awesome. And I looked at the guy, I'm like, that was perfect. That was perfect betting. Because I remember this guy was just watching it. I didn't know him. I said, that was perfect betting. Because I got everything out of that roll. It was like you couldn't have played it better in just the timing of it all. So that goes into, I think, just trusting your gut for whatever reason it is. But it also says, the other thing, I have no problems regressing at any point. I have no problems taking a bet down. And I know that that kind of flies in the face of a lot of people, the mentality of, oh, you got to keep pressing, you got to keep going, you got to be doing that. To me, that's always going to be profit. I'm never going to criticize anyone for taking any bet down at any level or putting anything in your rack. I think it's the thing that we don't do enough of is making sure that we have, and I know we all want to go for it and get it, but I think it's so important locking up any sort of profit because you can always continue. So there's a lot of things.
It's the in-between that kills you, right? It's the reason why you have that instinct is you've been in that situation and bad's happened. And your body is literally telling you, this is where you say one more, and more often than not, the one more doesn't come.
Dude,
so by trusting yourself,
1,000%.
Yeah. The brain is a crazy thing, and when you start feeling stuff like that, maybe just listen to it. Turn your bets off. Hop the heavy number. Leave the one that is your point if you're the shooter on, and save yourself some money.
Al, you just reminded me, Alfredo. What I did when I did take those down, I threw out $40 to hop the hard ways, and to me, I was like, well, I had something. You know what I mean? I could. Who cares? Like it just if I did throw it. But that's the point. When so many times I've been in on the next roll.
Yeah.
And then it never got to that next roll.
You know, we were there with Fuzzy and we were putting in hours over at Paris and elsewhere. And I think I turned to him, I believe it had to be half a dozen times and said, you know what, I think we haven't been able to get over this, or we should take a haircut or come down. 7 king. Every single time. He finally, after like the 7th time, and I got pissed at him, he's like, you need to just tell me this is what we need to do because you've been in this situation, and every fucking time you're right, or you're right more than you're wrong. Like, just tell me what to do, right? And it's just because you've been in these situations and played thousands of hours. There are things that happen. I won't only do it just off of an instinct because this is, I'm seeing the same formula that's happening. It may be that someone's pounded 5, 6, 4, hit 10s, no 9s, and like 1 8, and then all of a sudden they hit a 9. 20 something rolls in. I'm like,
long lost number.
Take take my bets down to 100 each, or turn me off for one roll. You know, and then there's other things like there's people where you're never going to ever have a long roll unless you have multiple stick changes. They'll do it on stick changes, but sometimes because it's something that you notice, right? The person came in, a 7 happened, it's going to imprint in your brain. You forget about all the times where it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean,
but there are times where stick change is fucking death 5 times in a row.
But you know what? That thing just happened at.
Yeah.
I mean, but it happens. I mean, maybe it's a confirmation bias, but if I think it, I just do it now, and I don't care.
If you feel it, follow it, right? Yeah.
You know, dude, I'll be shooting, and I'll see, like, I'll be shooting, and I see the waitress or hear the waitress. I go like this. Like, I want to. Like, I don't want to hear it. But yes, X-Man, that is 252. But yeah, I you know what this is, Alfredo. I think the takeaway is that betting is a very fluid, dynamic experience that you get to the longer you play. It's not just this, I do this and then I go to this and then I go to this. It's good to know,
it is
but
different. Yeah.
you just have a framework, but you know that there's so many forces acting on that framework that you can adjust, and you're always making adjustments. Like it's like driving, braking, stopping, putting the gas, you know, accelerating. And it just, I think you just have to really be in tune with the table and in the moment. You know, this is Chef asked, 10-ton shooting, what will you bet? It's his first roll of the night. It's a great question. I could say the same thing about you too, when we're at a table. I mean, what would you do?
Yeah, no. So if you were the one shooting and I'm betting,
yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Probably 110 inside, most likely. Yeah. And I might play a hard 4, hard 10 for 5 each, and hop the easy with the C&E. So I'll do 2 C, 1 E, and I'll hop the easies for 3 each, which will give me full coverage and a little light on the horns.
Yeah, and you know what? I would tell everyone, like I did with T-Bone the other night. I'm like, listen, I'm going to be throwing this. I expect this. So just know that this is what I expect, and we can go from there and adjust. You know, but I tend to go easy on people, like in the beginning of a roll, and then I'm like, shit, man. I mean, T-Bone had a killer roll on his first roll. I almost. You know, but it's more often than not, I think it's better.
Never have regrets, because you can make it up on yourself, or you can make it up on someone else once you are up. Here's the thing. You said something great earlier about sort of having a reverse bet where you take a big hit and you come down to another level, right? I call it like the Benjamin Button sort of way of playing, right? Where nice. You're already old and now you're coming back down, right? And so those are great things to do. That's the way I like to regress out of hands. So if I'm feeling like someone's now hitting a point where it may be a little murky coming up, I might take the 6-8 both down at the same time. Make it easy on the dealer. Take the 5 and 9 down at the same time to a level, because they're already on those numbers. Because if I do a full across regression, it's just going to disrupt the table.
Dude, so you're so right. You're so right, Alfredo. You're so right. Thank you. I don't like it when I'm at a table and people do that. I personally don't like it. I think it slows it down. I think you could take down, like, you can take down 2 at a time. You could take down 1, but not
even take it down. Like hey, I'm at 120 or 150 on both. Take them both to 60.
Unless you're the shooter, you can do whatever the hell you want to do and take as much time as you want. But when someone else is shooting, like, do it fast. That's what I think. And I do think taking down chunks of money is where it's at in this game. Again, in that sub 12 rolls, I feel like that's the time. That's the trickiest part of craps. If you can figure out that zone and figure out how to take chunks off the table within that, the game just becomes a lot easier to play. That's, to me, the tough part of this game.
And the tough part of making money there, if you're going to start low, is you have to be super aggressive on the first hit. So like if you're betting $18 on a 6-8, throw $3 on the one number and go to 42.
Well, dude,
it hits
okay,
again, go straight to 90.
Dude,
when it hits at 90, come back down to 30. Now you're at not only out of the hand, you're in decent profit that you can start putting substantial bets back out there.
So this is where I have some fundamental, like really philosophical differences with, let's say, well, you know, I've talked to Dice Coach about this, and it's where I feel like a lot of beginning players will do this. I feel like that collect. I think that first roll, that first hit is so vital
to collect, just from a mental standpoint.
In my opinion, to not collect. I think you need to press. You need to press that fucking thing is press, power press, full press on that first thing. I'm so against collecting because you need to, because it's the second rolls is where I feel like you can pull money down.
You're a stock guy, right? It's compound interest.
I'm not.
You're giving you, and it's already semi-paying for itself. You're just adding a little sweetener to get it to a now nice round number that's going to help you pivot even higher the next one.
I think I think people don't realize how crucial I feel like that first hit is on a number, and because you could be. It's such a huge difference. And in the short game, why not make the most of that? To me, it's like, just reinvest all of this, because the short roll, you know, you're looking in these, that sub double digit roll. You just want to get up at, you know, past that 6 in that 7 area, 8. You need to use that money. If you collected, just so you feel safe, by the time you get up to that, you're basically back at your starting point. That's the
problem that, like Corey and Rich, one of our friends, that they used to do like 330 or 440 and then come back down to quarters. And it's like, you just got it only out of the hand, and now you're going down to quarters. You still have to make money. If a bad number, red, happens right after you've done this crazy regression, and the next roll is still being funded out of your rack because you haven't gotten profit from the roll, you're misunderstanding the game. Sometimes taking that little extra risk to be up $60, at least that's half of a 120 inside, you know?
Yeah. Dice grinders, press, collect. I like that. Press first, EFSU, press first 4 or 5 hits. Big AZ. When I bet low, there's a big roll. When I go bigger, it's a bad roll usually. Goose hitter. What a name, man. Great. Who are you? Great conversation. Enjoy the detailed betting talk. Goose hitter. That's a good name. And this is Ollie. The first collect isn't worth enough compared to your bet amount. You need that press double hit. And I feel like a lot of people teach a safe way to play craps. There is no way to this is not a safe game. And that's where I feel like people are balancing their fears of this game with playing this game. And to play this game, I feel like don't be safe on the first few hits. You have to, that's when you need to be the most reckless in order to really, you know, because I shift back into almost super conservative mode, but that's again, it's like you got to start out of the blocks fast, whatever level you're on, even if you're at, you know, you just know what you're going to do and have a plan. Shout out Stent Placer 153. I don't know what that is. 153.
153. There has to be some sort of cross bet with some.
I think they're talking about SpaceX lower than IPO price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shout out Proverb. Don't work to come out. LOL, Alfredo. Yeah, I think I would. I mean, Alfredo, like, let's say when you're with, let's say if we're at a table, I think with someone like you, I already know, like, well, I'm going to check things out because I am a little tentative anyway with other people, and I've kind of, you learn the hard way. I'd probably go 220 inside if the point is a is a 6, I'd probably take that $60 and throw it on a 4 or 10. You know what I mean?
Here's a perfect thing, right? And I've told friends this for the most part, but they have a differing opinion because they want to make the maximum off of a big roll. A big roll is going to pay for itself. Doesn't matter where you start. You might make a little less if you start a little bit lower than someone else, but guess what? I've started at 76 inside or at 110 inside and made only 500 less than someone that started at 330 or even higher. And at the grand scheme of things, there's going to be times where you might make it just a little bit less. But when you get past that hump and you get that big ass roll, you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
If it's a skilled shooter that you believe is going to have more longer rolls than shorter, and that average is going to be a lot higher than what a normal person is going to do, you don't have to have FOMO of not betting crazy big in the beginning. Just bet smaller and bet aggressive, like what you said. You could easily pass because now, Ben's doing a collect, but he already started at 50, but you actually power pressed off the first roll off of 15. It paid 21, you dropped $9 and you went to 50 as well. So you're collecting the same thing that he is.
Yeah.
And if you get even more aggressive, maybe you pass him up because he did a collect at that first one.
Yeah. I like how I've been at a table with Wisco and Moonshine, and it's great when I see when their bets are up. Somehow it's funny how you see certain people and then somehow your bets end up in the same spot. Although you different ways
it becomes competitive.
Different ways routes, but you got to the same spot. I think it all gets. I think things get more similar. I think as the roll continues, your betting presses become almost universally similar because of the amounts. It's really, there's so much variation in that early goose hitter. I'm a golfer and my ball tends to follow the geese. I like that. Fuzzy says, ask Alfredo about the guy in the chair on his former YouTube video.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That probably, if I was banned for that, I would legitimately be okay with it. So, you had Zoom, right? And so I learned early on not to post a invite to stage, and I didn't have a backstage back then. And so the person comes on, they didn't have their screen on, and they're immediately in a chair, doing their junk and
no way, really?
Making some crazy fucking noise. And I'm over here like, where's the fucking eject button? Where's the fucking eject button? Like, I freaked out and I totally forgot it was right in front of my face to kick the person and ban the person. But yeah, that was traumatizing. I think there was like 80 people live watching at the time when it happened.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Or something like that. I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah. So Alfredo, for, let's say, if you were, do you do any coaching or teaching then?
Yeah. So I have someone that's gonna come over here in about a week and a half. So I do life coaching. There's a lot of friends I don't even charge shit, right, and just give advice. I'm in it for the game, but if someone wants to get better at dice, get better at betting, I can help them with both of those things. And I usually charge an hourly fee.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And
I mean,
so, yeah.
If you've got that much knowledge, I mean, you should. What is that what is that behind you?
What? That's the Instagram right there.
Oh, okay. So that's your Instagram. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Alfredo TCS. Yeah.
Nice, man. How often are you, are you giving, let's say, live classes, or do you do it over?
No, I've had people come over to my house, not charge anything, right? Just to shoot, and we have fun, and some people have paid to have lessons because they want formal classes and a mentor. I think I'm gonna really push to just be a mentor. Someone wants to do a per hour to get a tune-up or something like that, I'll be available for that. Especially if you can obviously do it from your home if you have a table, but if not, you can, and you're in Texas, or can come out here. I'm available here, or I can be available.
I see.
anywhere.
I think that you can, in your journey to be, a craps player. I feel like you can learn. I've really wanted to, I've sort of been at all, everyone's classes. I think it's just good just from amassing, or getting a lot of the information into your brain, and then you can pick and choose the things that really resonate with you. I feel like betting will resonate with a personality style. Fear, a lot of that is fear based. I think there's a lot of, how you are as a person, risk taking. I really want to make money at this or doing this. You can pick up different pieces from all of these different players, because I play so different compared to, let's say, a Tony Leo, or, there's a lot of then you start seeing overlaps where circles, this circle of me overlaps with you, overlaps with Ed, overlaps with Bo, and there's commonalities to all of these. I think it only benefits you from learning and talking to a lot of these people. You can always pick up something from someone that's been doing it out there. I love talking to people to see where they're at. Some people are like, oh, well, I'm fine with my betting. I don't think so. I think you can always improve your betting.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Like you learn a lot from it. Smart people learn from others and incorporate it to your sense into their own, right? And it's always going to be still unique and different. So many people think that if I give away a secret sauce, that somehow that makes me less unique. Well, no, it isn't, because they're not going to do it the exact same way. They're not going to, Fuzzy's funny. He'll say, I hear you, right? But I'm not always taking that advice right away. And it may take time for what you're saying to sink in. And then I see it and I visualize it, because maybe I'm doing a poor job at describing what he should do and why. And I'm not building that bridge because, he's seeing different things and he wants to continue to do it his way. But then he runs into the fucking wall several times. And finally, enough's enough. It's lunacy not to acknowledge that there is a different way to do this. He incorporates it. That takes vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
If you need mentors, because if you can be vulnerable, you will pick up about other stuff. If you can be vulnerable about what's ailing you, maybe it's your betting, maybe you're being too aggressive, maybe you're not bankroll managing right. Having someone to go and speak to and be vulnerable and talk about that, and creating a plan, how breaking it down, how did you get there? But then having someone give you some advice on how to avoid that, because we've all been through it, right? Yeah. I've had crazy FOMO where, my initial prep days were not making money, but the last several years I've made money consistently, profitable year over year. And it's because I got tired of fucking losing. I got tired of staying at the table. Once I was up and I was happy with the thing, I'd start taking more micro breaks, get the money in my wallet and add a chips, because if I just have a bunch of chips, even if they're in my pocket, it's easy to take out. Really
I agree with you. And shout out G-Dub. He says, you learn way more by teaching than you do taking classes once you become well-versed in the game. I think it's also like when you're there, I will always ask people certain questions. I like being at tables where I can ask people. I'd say my weak point has where I was in the whole world of dice was actually reading dice, reading dice immediately. And I've been practicing so that I can get better. And it's actually paid off. I mean, at Paris, it paid off in hitting the all, just because, okay, this didn't work. And you're just, why didn't this work? And why didn't this work? And then you go to a different set and you're like, okay, great. I think you can learn so much from and all these guys. There's a lot of knowledgeable guys in this community. All for it. Just everyone should be as long as you're talking about the game, I feel like you can always pick stuff up from a lot of different people.
The advanced play is really like getting better at learning from others, being more aware of what you're seeing when you're at a table, right? Because if you're going to spend the time of being there, like one of the great things, Arnell, that I saw years ago when I first started playing with, he was happy sitting on the side over near a slot machine, but seeing the table and literally letting it go a whole orbit before he even jumped in. Number one, he didn't want to have to go through 9 people just for him to shoot. Number two, he wanted to see who was actually shooting well and what numbers they were shooting were their prominent numbers. And then number three, he wanted to take advantage of his bankroll because he knew his spot was open and he was going to slide in when it was 1 or 2 shooters before and take advantage, the most advantage of what he had to bring there on that day. And you know, like that guy has instincts, and you build those instincts through failures and through triumphs, and they're both gonna equally, you know, sharpen the sword.
EFSU says reading dice only works with consistent tosses. You are correct, sir. It only does, and you'll that goes without saying.
You interpret the outcomes, right? So it starts from a baseline of what are they setting, and once you start understanding what the outcomes are and how that might differ from what your base is. Let's say you're on a hardway set and you typically get one off, right? And at your normal table that you go to and at your practice table. But you go to a casino and you're not getting one off. You're staying on axis.
Yeah.
What it means is, right?
Yeah.
These are foam dice, but the dice are not necessarily going in the same direction they would normally go, right? Normally you're used to one going off. And they're staying on axis. This can be very dangerous because you can then get a 1 pitch or double pitch 7, depending on what set you're on. You then incorporate that into a different set that works for a 1 pitch difference staying on axis. That it's advanced craps. It will turn a bad, piss poor, really bad session into a winning session. Yeah, if you can get and see some consistency in what the dice are doing, and you're just adjusting.
And it also goes in to saying it's like, well, you should be on a table that you trust could give you those results versus a rather bouncy table, which is gonna it's gonna be tougher to read your dice anyway on something like that. Paul Roberts, as a new craps player, less than 2 years, building my own table has been the best investment in my game. Having a mentor has taught me how to bet and practice with a purpose. I agree with you. Having a table changes everything.
Yeah.
It's next level in development. Right? Yeah.
I mean, Arnell will say it too, like, and you talked about it earlier. It almost becomes second nature, like whether it's golf, like I know I'm going to get a 6-iron here because you have the feel, you're seeing the depth perception, all that stuff. You know, it's a little uphill and maybe the 7's going to be too weak and it's not going to quite get as far as I want. You're in these situations literally instinctively knowing what the next move is, right? Because you've practiced these bets, you've practiced these presses, even if they're power presses, on what it is that you want to do. And getting the dice back and keeping that motion of getting through the table real quick when it's payouts instead of like, I mean, you know, I get on some players that I play with, if they're not paying attention, like you're first to act. You need to, as soon as the dice hit, know where you're going to go, because that dealer's going to be asking you. And if you don't know, they're going to pay you. Then you're going to throw and say, hey, do this. They're already on to someone else. You're slowing the game at this point and being disruptive.
Yeah, you're right. Do you know the soccer game score? Who won?
Oh, I don't. It should still be on. I would assume. Maybe
it might be. We're going on. It's 2-2.
Yeah, I think we're 2-2.
What a game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, listen, Alfredo. This was a. He says he's talking about me, 10 ton.
It's not only you, Fuzzy. You are not the only one.
So, well, listen, man. I look forward to you're going on a cruise then next to the Mexican Riviera?
So Western Caribbean and then Eastern Caribbean on August 2nd. That's out of New Jersey.
Are you going with any guys that we know in the?
July 2nd, I'm just going because it was close and I need some R&R. Sales has been crazy here this year. A lot of stress. The one on August 2nd, I'm going with Giuseppe, Rich Taylor, Ken No Shoes, and I think that's it. I don't know that there's anyone else.
Wait, No Shoes? No Shoes from Canada?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I haven't heard No Shoes in a while. I haven't heard that name in a while. Shout out No Shoes from Canada.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, from Canada. We're meeting up there. I think the three are meeting in Chicago. They're going to go to a Cubs game and then drive up. I'm flying into LaGuardia the night before, spend some good time at a hotel and then jump on the ship.
Oh, nice, man. Okay, that's cool. And then when you coming out to Vegas then? Let me know.
I'll definitely be out to Vegas. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit something here in July, but I think there's like a multiplier that I want to try to get to if I can get to it. It's going to be like right butt up against going elsewhere. And then there's at the end of August, I've been asked if I want to join something, so I'll probably do that. So
what do you mean join?
At the very least, it'll be they're doing like a meetup and a whole tournament thing.
You mean
Brian's hosting.
Oh yeah. That'll be cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I would love to set up a booth, like a table, and call that as
an announcer.
Yeah, I don't want to MC it. I just want to call it from like a table, with someone else while it's happening.
That's what I think like the crazy thing of crabs, like the idea Chuck had, and I still think that at some point it will materialize. I could foresee casinos having actual cameras that are live feeds for the craps tables. Like it's one of the most exciting games when good things are happening, right? But imagine, what's he gonna do now? He was just at 500, right? Oh, he hit a hard 10. Is he gonna go to 1,000 or 1,500? Like
it could be
crazy exciting.
You have no idea. I feel like that is my calling to do that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you watch poker, but a friend of mine is one of the announcers, Joe Stapes, and he, that's going on ESPN, and it's just funny. One of the best things is actually why I watch it is because of his commentary, because it's funny because you can make this funny with all the characters that we have playing craps and what they're doing. It would just be absolutely hilarious.
Tune into the show on Kick It once or twice. A lot of people join just because of the banter back and forth with me, Fuzzy, and the rest of the people that are there. So we give each other shit, right? Like Ashish.
Yeah.
If I'm shooting bad, he'll give me shit, and then all of a sudden I'm shooting good, and then he's shooting like shit, and I'm giving him shit, and we're sharing stories, listening to music, and there's some crazy conversations that happen.
Yeah, that would be good. Yes, Craps Master Journey. That would be awesome. That would be awesome to have a booth and do that. Hope to see you soon. That says it's H Young. Who is that? Who is H Young? Do you know?
That's Hazel.
Oh, Hazel.
Hazel. That's SJ's wife. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Hazel, and then Paul Roberts said great podcast. Thank you guys. Snake Eyes Shooter. The banter is priceless. Makes the PSOs not hurt as much. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. It sounds like you got a good group, Alfredo. It sounds like you've got a lot of people that respect what you're doing and your play. And man, you've been doing this for a long time, dude. So
I appreciate the time. Anything I can do to help. Obviously don't take my, if I was ever given back, because there's like a pilot program to get back a channel, not the channel that you had. I certainly wouldn't do Crapsy live ever again on YouTube, because that's the thing that got me banned.
Yeah. That's yeah. I mean,
which
that's
is
a
crazy
shame.
because so many
Yeah,
people are doing it daily on YouTube. So yeah,
man. Interesting. That's interesting. I'm glad I wasn't a whole like that's a whole nother world that I don't know about. Proverb 16:33 says, "See you on the it's either the 1st or the 11th, maybe one of those." Um, and then Huggy Bear, dude, says, "Looking forward to your kick stream." Ah, John from Pro Craps. Hey, man, John, right here, buddy. Right here. 12th man. I'm official. All right. Oh, it's the 11th, is what he says. And that's for you, Alfredo. Do you
yeah.
know? Are you friends with Proverb 1633? It's on a lot of cruises.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna be in Lake Charles this upcoming Wednesday night, but it's only gonna be that one night. I might only be at the table for probably a couple
Okay.
hours. Since I'll be there, it's close to
Scott.
Galveston. Drive back in. Scott,
You guys.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alfredo in Vegas.
Hey, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me
He
know
was
when you're
talking
in
about
Vegas.
the 10 times multiplier, August
Oh, yeah.
30th through the 6th.
So listen, dude, let me know when you're in Vegas. I appreciate the time, man. It was good getting to know you and
we'll
having
stay
this
connected,
conversation.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really you know what? You got a good mind for the game. It's fun talking to you about your approach to the game. So it'd be good because when we played, I was over in the Hook that one time, and that table was crowded, was so crowded. I remember I made 2,000 and I left.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, great interview. Thank you for the opportunity. I look forward
dude,
to
are you kidding? It was my pleasure, man. It was my pleasure, and
it.
this is really cool. And so hopefully, some other people discovered you, and it's just good. I love this shit, man.
Yeah, if you know any names that are out there that you want connection with or something like that, just feel free to let me know and I'll reach out to them.
And likewise, because
connected.
because your main stomping grounds, I mean, I for some reason I always thought you were playing in like that Joliet area a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I flew up there on my own dime because it's profitable. So why not?
Fucking Cool Whip, man, out of nowhere. Yeah. Great show, good one to rewatch. Cool Whips, man, that's awesome. And John, Dice Squirrel, good show, man. Where have you guys been hanging out, dude? Just chiming in now. It's good to see these guys. So yeah, man, I will. Thanks a lot for being on. Appreciate the time, and we'll talk soon. Reach out anytime now, whenever you want to talk about anything as far as betting and all that stuff goes. So, all right,
we can
Alfredo.
shoot some dice over at your house. All right.
Oh, dude, anytime. Listen, just keep me posted when you're here, because we'll get a table and we'll get some guys together. It'll be cool.
Definitely going to do that. So this November, December, we'll definitely be Fuzzy and I there a couple times, and in January. So if you're free any of those times, just make sure, and we'll let you know.
I will be. And Jobless DGen, thank you.
Okay.
Dice Squirrel lurking. I like that. I like that emoji, man. I like that. And this is who's Tenton and who is Alfredo, left or right? That's awesome. I would be Tenton. This is Alfredo, but I don't know if it's left or right. So let's go. So, all right, man. I'll talk to you soon, Alfredo. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Everyone, appreciate everyone joining. We've got a little announcement as we close out the show. So going forward, we are going to a every 2-week schedule, so I can have some semblance of a life and working on other stuff that I want to do for Craps. The next show, I forget who's going to be on it next. I think it might be Yo Kev with a special guest appearance from Birdman, my old friend, and Milky. So it'll be sort of an Indiana centric show, which will be cool. And I think that's pretty much it, man. It's a nice night out here in Vegas. We're gonna call it. Appreciate everyone that watched the stream. Really appreciate all you guys, and like and subscribe. I never say it. I really should say it more. I'm gonna record with Ed tomorrow. I'm gonna give some detailed notes on my experience at Red Rock, which was great. And you know what? Let me add in these guys. No, let me get rid of this. These guys. I'm going to talk all about these guys. This was a fun time going up to Red Rock. I've had to rethink what I thought about Red Rock, which is great. 10 Ton, are you doing the Palms Craps tournament? I do not know. I have no clue what I'm going to be doing then. But maybe another great show in the books. Yes, that was a good one. Mad Hatter, thumbs up. See you at the tables. And Alfredo, thanks all. It was fun. Yes, it was. And then, was it 3-2? ETG? Oh, Turkey won? Wow. That's crazy. So that's what's up. Next podcast, we're going to go more nitty gritty on some things with Ed. I'm really enjoying what's happening over on that side. Yeah, that's going to be it. I will, Fuzzy, thanks for looking forward to seeing you in Vegas too. Yeah, it is nonstop. All of a sudden it's 3 hours later. So appreciate it, guys. I'm ETG's Garcon. ETG's coming in to close it out. Thanks a lot.